to save our home. We must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another day of the AMX Global League Season 4. We're coming at you today with a bunch of great races, but of course, starting things off will be our AMX LIGHT Championship. It's Toyota GR86s and a lot of other light cars, and we'll be racing on Zolder today, and we'll have a lot to talk about that in just a little bit. But first, I have to go ahead and welcome you all not only to the stream, but also to Amir. Well, welcome back, Amir. How you doing?
Yeah, thanks, Reed. Thanks for the introduction. Welcome everybody on board to the show again, and glad to be here again after what was an exciting week last time out with the races that we had there in Barcelona. And we got the first race ready, but it was just exciting in the it was Alton Park, yeah. So MX5s and TCRs. Then we're gonna have GR86s here. So in Zolder. Sorry, revealed the track already, but we'll get into that in depth. I'm just waiting for the action to go, just roll by now.
I mean, yeah, we did show the name of the track a little bit earlier, so no spoilers. Also, if you're racing today, then you hopefully already knew what and where we're racing, unless you just love surprises. Either way, it's good to see everybody here, wherever you're from. Thank you so much for tuning into today's show. Like I said, we do have a lot more coming your way with AMX 10 racing immediately after this. It's going to be a TCR race, spoiler alert, and that's pretty good. We're going to have a lot of great races for that one, so we're glad to have you here. Let's go ahead and get started with a little bit of our housekeeping as we spin high above Zolder, below Der. Yeah. This is the AMX Global League Season 4, in case you're in the wrong place. That's where we're at. We're in the middle of a 3-month season. Not quite the middle, but finishing up on April 21st. We are racing for $20,000 and, of course, some gear from our friends at Next Level Racing. We do have a lot of races in a year, even just this season, 68, with a lot of variety, 6 separate championships, cars, and a whole lot of the best tracks in the world. The race format is by far the most unique characteristic of the AMX Global League, featuring 20-minute qualifier, 20-minute Heat 1, and 20-minute Heat 2 with a top 15 reverse grid, not once, but twice. When you race with us, we want you to join via a video link on our AMX Discord. You can also find the link on our website. It's just a link, you click it, and you can join on your PC or your phone or whatever you got going on there. When you race with us on Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays and win prize money, we'll pay you out every month automatically. You don't need to do anything. All you need to do is win. When you hit over $100, we'll send it out to you in $100 increments. I mentioned earlier that we are racing Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday, and here are the times. It's basically right now, 5:50 p.m. GMT. And this is not ECT, EST, or any of the E's. It's GMT. So if you're in Greenwich, you're fine. Anywhere else, you got to adjust yourself a little bit. 7:20 p.m. for the race immediately after this. Every day the same time, so you don't have to readjust yourself. Now, what are we racing for? Well, there's a lot on the line this season. Not only do we have a lot of prizes, but for every single section of the race today, we have $7 for first place. That means if you do an AMX 1 Triple Crown, you can get 20. You can wrap up 21 there, and then the dollar for fastest laps makes it pretty good if you can make it happen through the double reverse grids. We pay out to the top 15 places, so no matter what you do, you're going to get a pretty good chance at finishing in the money. And that's a look at our AMX 1 prize pool. It's $100 every single day we go racing. Now, as far as racing is concerned, here's a look at the AMX 1 Top 12. These guys have been killing it this season. With 4 races raced for Connor Healy, he is having a monster of a season. More races you would think would dilute the pool there, but no, he keeps winning every single time. Even if he doesn't come first every race, he's always in the points, in the money, and he's number 1. 4 races raced, he's only won 1, but he's in the top at $46. Facundo Rago and Diego Villarreal de Leon are right behind him, with Imran Zuhaili, a close personal friend of the show. And by the show, I mean Amir. Yeah, so that's a look at our AMX 1 Top 12. If you want to get your name up there, then head on over to amxrace.com. That's how you join, and then you too can get your name up there. And if you want to join our races for even less than normal, it's already like $1. So, we're really trying to hook you up here. Then just sign up ahead of time. If you sign up 3 days or more ahead of time for the race, then you got 30% off. I'm actually just about to change that in a little bit, so don't worry if you're racing this weekend. You still got time to get that promotion. And if you want an even deeper discount, you can click the season tickets link up at the top of amxrace.com. And that'll give you a 50% discount for each one of our 6 different championships this season. That's about all that I have to say before we get things started today. So I'm going to throw things over to Amir to talk about what and where we're racing.
Thanks for that, Reed. As we can see in the background there, the circuit that we've been showing for a while, it is Circuit Zolder in Belgium, former home of the Belgian Grand Prix, opened in 1963, just a whisker over 4 kilometers long, clockwise, and it is a bit tight and twisty compared to some of the fast circuits that we've had in recent rounds, but original form with laser scanning, of course, being as part of the queue. Really nice to have some variety in the circuits that we've chosen, and Zolder is particularly one of my other favorites besides Spa in terms of Belgian circuit.
That's right. Little known fact, Belgium in French is Belgique. The more you know. Also, I probably butchered that. All right, what is this car? Amir, what are we doing here?
Yeah, in terms of automobile, doing a bit of French there as well, it's the Toyota GR86, which is, of course, featured here in the Toyota GR Cup North America, but also it's home in Oceania in New Zealand. 228 horsepower, rear-wheel drive, 1.3 tons, and a sequential gearbox. So for those drivers who are looking to have an advantage by using manual and heel so they might not see that here. They'll have to shift up through the gears with a normal sequential stick, or they can do it flappy pedal gearbox, whichever comes to mind for those guys. But really fun car, really chuckable, but if you really hit it hard, you can actually just fly them to the air, as some other accidents we've seen in the GT Cup Oceania.
Fun fact, was previously the GR Space 86, but they had trouble selling it online because there's a whole lot of things that are GR on the internet. So they deleted the space, and now it's just one word, GR86. That's completely useless information. This is just how my brain works, guys. Sorry, I'm doing the best I can. Just like these guys. That's my 1/6 segue of the night. These guys, not riding segways, they got double the number of wheels, and they are out on track in qualifying. They are racing, like Amir was saying, around Circuit Zolder in these GR86s, and we're a few minutes into qualifying. This season we have extended the qualification time to 20 minutes. I think originally, a few seasons ago, it was 10 minutes. So literally double the amount of time, literally. To get out there and put some good times up. Let's see what's going on today. Do have some newcomers to the league, and of course you can join at any time during qualifying. So if you want to get in here, amxrace.com, click the first race that's up there, and you will be on the screen in no time. Just got to check your email. So Pascucci, we had him race once earlier on. Tunez also, the new guy, Amoroso, not only loves racing, but also us, maybe, probably. He doesn't know it yet, but he will. And a few good racers, including Diego Villarreal, who's been out here quite a bit, and has said that he was practicing very hard for the race today. So looking forward to see what he can do.
Yep, and so far at least no bank. It says a bank lap he's put in a 45.6, about 1.4 seconds behind Pascucci, but no doubt he'll definitely be turning up the wig as the session goes on. In fact, we're already past the halfway point. Let's see what he can do here as we're on board with Pascucci. Now he led by Antunes, so probably just picking up a few cues here and there to see how his closest rival is faring compared to him.
Yeah, and that's actually something I don't think I've ever talked about before, is that qualifying isn't just for you to set a fast time. It also gets you a chance to know your opponents. And if you're racing in a league where it's the same race cars, the same race tracks, the same racers every day, then you get to know them a little bit. And so you're like, oh, I know that guy, I'm racing against him. But in AMX, it's a little bit different because you never know who you're going to have on the day. So you might know the car and the track ahead of time so you can practice, but you cannot practice against a random field of drivers. It's going to be some crazy people out there, and you may not have the experience knowing kind of how they race. And qualifying is a decent idea or decent way to get a feel for the field and see what's coming your way.
Absolutely, Reed. And sometimes you can have a bit of spanner in the works when someone that you didn't expect to come in being fast can actually upset the apple cart and just throw your strategy into a tailspin. So you might want to see what they're doing in qualifying and try to get the better of them as it goes. As we see the rankings come by here, and Tunez, no wonder that Pascucci actually let him by. He's the highest rated iRacing driver in here, A license, but Pascucci's not half bad himself for 44.2, 4/10 faster, but so far at least that's the fastest time right now. It will definitely be tumbling after this once the drivers get into a rhythm.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's 13 minutes through a 20-minute qualifier, so probably most of the good lap times will be set here and all up the way until the end. All the way up until the end, rather. Yeah, it's a 2-minute track, right? This is not a short track. And more specifically, these aren't really super fast cars. So the lap times are going to be coming in around 20 or around minute 40. And in fact, when you look at the race times for GR86s at Zolder, I think if I was checking earlier, earlier, I don't think they ever have raced here explicitly, right?
Negative, because as far as I'm concerned, I think they don't have a European TCR GT Cup series for the GR86s. So the closer we can get are TCRs, but they're lapping way faster, about 136.7. So right along those lines, about 140, maybe we're looking at those times as pretty much the benchmark.
Yeah, and that's a great way to open up kind of the subtitle for this track, right? Every track sort of has a thing that it's known for, right? Think of Daytona, Talladega, some of the big ones, Spa. The subtitle for Circuit Zolder is the other Belgian racetrack. I'm just kidding. It's the home of DTM. And actually, the Deutsche Tourenwagen series, Tourenwagen, or something like that. You gotta say it more aggressively, like you have a cold or something. DTM races here a lot, and the times are actually kind of comparable. A DTM car will wrap this track in maybe 142, something like that. So it's not that far off.
Though there's a bit of a caveat to that. Those were 2002 DTMs. They were
right.
Compared to.
I'm busy lying on air, Amir.
No, I'll just back you up on that. But yeah, really nice to see that these cars, much younger compared to those DTMs back in the day, are actually comparable in terms of speed. So they're really handy piece of kit. And someone commented on the bottom there, Deutsche Tourenwagen Masters. Yes, Meisterschaft is the old name, which is all the way back to 1996 when it became ITC. But now we call it Tourenwagen Masters, or it should be Grand Tourenwagen Masters, because it's now more or less a GT3 series, but being sidetracked a bit there.
I mean, thanks for the history lesson, Amir. I hope you guys are writing it down. There's a test on that later. Also about why GR86 doesn't have a space in the middle. This is like essential need to know information. On board now with Machado's. Yes. Oh yeah, no, yeah, it's oh, I have so many facts. I actually made a list of them earlier. I'll be sprinkling them through the broadcast today. A lot of yellow there because everybody's basically set their fastest laps already. But who knows? Let's see the way things shake out. 8 racers here with Amoroso out in the pits. He might come out for one more, and realistically, you only really have time for about one more good lap out there, maybe 2. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to take those chicanes. Just flying over them. A little bit of air there from Machado. He's coming over currently in P5. And, this is a AMX 1, right? So there's no limit to who can race here. If you have a 100 I rating, get on in here. It's open for you. I hope that maybe get that up a little bit. But my point is, these guys are not bad. Tunez with 9.4K, everybody around 3 to 5K. That's a pretty good strength of field.
Indeed, it is. And the fact that a lot of them are A license, so that means that these guys have put in the effort to get their road ratings up. Apart from Pascucci, who's a B rating, but no doubt he's no slouch because he is still leading the time charts by about 0.4 of a second, less than that, give or take, ahead of Antunes. We're looking at Machado right now. He was fastest in the second timing split. Looks as though he may not be able to improve his time, although he might be wrong as he comes across the line now. A 45.6 according to the timing there, but no improvement as of yet. And another fun fact about this circuit, Reed, the website itself is actually a real fun bit. They call themselves the Funfastic Circuit. Don't know how that came about.
Is that okay? You know, I have no room to speak as an English language speaker about taking liberties with other people's languages, but like, yeah, I don't know about that. Anyway, fantastic, bombastic, whatever you want to call this. It's not a bad circuit by any means, and it does sort of get not maligned, but just kind of forgotten about. It's kind of in the woods, and also, oh, by the way, there's like Spa over there. So this was actually a track that was raced a whole lot more before all of the remodeling and the inclusion. And oh, by the way, like every tournament series ever. So I'm glad that we get a chance to show it off here. And obviously, if you watch DTM, then yeah, you're gonna know this track like the back of your hand.
Yeah, and also the fact that it's a tragic shame that because of Gilles Villeneuve's death in 1982, Formula One just moved away from here and have been at Spa since its remodeling in 1983. So it's that other circuit that people talk about in Belgium. It's often maligned under the shadow of its much bigger brethren. But no doubt Spa is one of the classic circuits, but Zolder does hold its own, and glad to see that other series that are of noteworthy status are still racing here, Reed.
Like AMX. That's what we're doing.
Yes,
we're bringing it back. And it is fun to see that. And that's one of the greatest things about iRacing and just sim racing in general is that you can race anywhere. Speaking of racing anywhere, these guys racing here have just seconds left to put down their final times. And in fact, we might have actually just seen the final time put up there on the board. 45 seconds left. And we have 3 more racers out on field trying to get around the finish line in time. Currently, it's Antunes up in P1 provisionally. Pascucci at Lozano Mercerat. And then everybody else trying to get around there. Right now, we're on board with Diego Villarreal, who might have that time deleted. Not sure about that, but he's going to come through. We'll see if he can improve on a 1:45.687. Question mark.
Yeah,
and he's second now.
And he might be able to just about cross the line before the time runs out. So he may not be able to get pole position, but he might just improve his starting. No, he's gonna start high anyway. He's not gonna improve his time. Across the line he goes. Day 6, but he is gonna start third when we flip the script.
Yes. Here we go. Ooh, I kind of like this background beat. Is this new? Have I been listening to this the whole season? I didn't know. It was a banger. Either way, here's our session winner, Ben Q. Thank you for sitting neatly under the chin of Daniel Antunes. I assume that there's supposed to be an Enye there because it is Iberian. So it's either Antunes, or it's Antunes, but I'm going to pronounce it wrong regardless. So Daniel Antunes. I'm doing my best. I promise I'm not doing this on person. I have a problem. Roman Pascucci, Mauricio Lozano, Pablo Mercerat, Mateus Machado, Diego Villarreal, Felipe Spetronev, and Victor Amoroso. Anyway, coming in the last place, but it's a reverse grid. And that means that as we get into AMX's heat number 1, we are going to flip things around. And that means that Amoroso is going to speed his way towards the front of the grid, which we are filling up right now before we get rolling.
And we have a McDonald's cup in front with, I think we saw just now, it was a Lightning McQueen car. So some homages to NASCAR in between. And we have a Yahoo car as well of Antunes right in between. So really can't wait to go over here today, Reed.
Yeah, that's right. We actually have some pretty decent liveries. A couple of throwbacks, some defaults, and yeah, the McDonald's up front. So no, that's not Bubba Wallace behind the seat, but he'll be doing his best all the way over in Europe in a car he's never driven. So I'm ready. We are about ready to go. No pace car in front. We are just going to slam on the gas. And you can see here the engines heating up a little bit. Green flag. We are good to go for racing here at Circuit Zolder in GR86s. Villarreal up around the outside. A great start for him. Vespucci Mercerat. Mercerat actually making up a couple. Amoroso with a very slow start. Does not get off the line post haste. A little bit of bumping there towards the back. It's Antunes who passes up Lozano. Lozano retaking that spot. It's a lot of action right here at the front. A little bit of a slow start, but that makes for a lot of action around the first curve. It's a big start for Mercerat, like I said earlier, who gets up a couple places, dropping back now in the back. Lozano struggling. Vespucci also back there kind of uncharacteristically one of the best drivers here in the class, and he is back to the back with a long way to go to get up near this guy. It's Diego Villarreal, who, like I said, was practicing for this race and seems to have paid off a little bit.
Absolutely, he and Petronov had the best of starts here off the line and managed to navigate their way through the guys in front and go all the way to the front here. With the opposite can be said for the number 5 car, Van Moroso. He literally had the worst of starts, got bogged a bit, but somehow manages to fend off the likes of Antunes, Vespucci, and Lozano. So he's in that mid-pack. Oh, spoke too soon. Antunes and Vespucci have actually gotten in front. Now they're ready to swarm the rest of the field right in front of them.
Yeah, well, how the tables have tabled here. Antunes now the biggest winner, up from last to 8th, so no surprise there. He set the fastest time in qualifiers. He's all about to do it all over again. Vespucci might have something to say about it as he closes within a couple of tenths and a half. Let's see. Stone Cold Killer, look at that cam. He is laser focused. And I always wonder about this because, you're supposed to be looking around, checking your braking zones. Nah, he's got one way to look at. No, Amoroso seems to have lost the back end there in the back. Thankfully, not a collision, but still needs to get it back on the track pointed forward. Lozano also had a little bit of a dinger and is now back 4 seconds there. So the back markers, a couple of them, but still 6 cars racing in a really fast pack next to each other. Spetronov still with the fastest time on the board, though, putting him P1 by 3.5 tenths.
Yeah, fast 6 up in front here. Spetronov, Villarreal, Mercerat. Front 3, or the rear 3, Machado, Antunes, and Vespucci. With Lozano falling back a bit, about 4.2 seconds from this pack, and Amoroso, despite carrying the Bubba Wallace McDonald's livery, he unfortunately he was Carl Larson because he's a number 5 on his car. As goes through on the inside is Mercerat, but he loses it on the chicane on the exit.
Whoa.
There's the rest of the field through. He went one way up, but 4 ways back.
Yeah, it's a metaphor for life, right? Just gotta keep swimming. You'll get back up there. Villarreal doing a great job of holding on to that second place spot and even contesting Spetronov for the lead. This is a guy, oh man, look at that air. I love it. Do they have wings underneath there? Whoa, spinning around. Man, I cannot count the number of times that I have done that because I've never done it. Because I don't think I've raced this car. Either way, honesty, it's the best policy. Vespucci getting done. Antunes up 5 places into P3. The previous pole leader now showing that he absolutely knows what he's doing, and he's doing a great job deleting the field in front of him, continuing to close so fast on Spetronov, who now has dropped down to 2nd. Diego Villarreal into the lead.
Yeah, it looks like all that practice is coming to fruition for Villarreal, but he's only got one part of the job done, is to get up in front. Now he has to hold it against a pack of charging bulls right behind him, especially with the likes of Antunes and Vespucci. Clearly, the 2 drivers who have the best handle of these cars around this track, really breathing behind him. But he's got Spetronov himself and the lead, so he can at least use that as a bit of a cover for the guys in front.
Yeah, that's right. Now on board with Vespucci, like you mentioned. He is absolutely closing like a rocket ship. This guy has the 2nd fastest time on track right now with 1:44.9, and is only beaten out by actually Lozano, who is a 7,000th faster. So really, really tight field. And even Lozano, he's down there in 7th, might be making a comeback with speeds like that. Speaking of comebacks, it's Antunes who was on a monster drive around the outside. No! He gets turned. No, it's Petronev getting spun out there, trying to cram 3 cars into the corner. Feel obligated to say that that does not go. Petronev spinning out. Spintronev. I don't know. There's a better way to do that. But either way, he is now back in the back. He's got some good company back there. But the racing at the front is just as fast, just as close as ever. 4 or 5 cars right next to each other. Machado bringing out the rear. And Antunes has notched 8 other drivers in his metaphorical racing gun. Although I will say Pascucci is not taking this laying down. Gets around the outside, comes through into P2. And now Diego. He's got to be sweating. He's seeing some fast racers in his rearview mirror, and instead of just leading by a second, he's got to think, okay, how do I nurture this lead, not overdrive the car, get it ready to do what I need it to do, because oh, Lord, they coming. Antunes now up 5 and looking to make a move here on Pascucci in a couple turns.
That's exactly what Villarreal wants, actually, because the more they fight, the more that he can actually create a bit of a gap and make a beeline for it. So he will be wishing that they'll be continue to fight. But looks as though Antunes might have done that as a sort of tactic to let Pascucci by, because he knows that this guy is actually fast in qualifying trim, although he qualified 2nd. And he's just going to lead the way. There we go. Case in point. Antunes is actually just bump drafting Pascucci along the way. He's trying to ask him to get a move on here to chase up to the back of Villarreal.
I love those chicanes. We might as well just put like potholes in the middle of the road. Deterrence. Yeah. Pascucci, things are spacing out a little bit. We're a little bit less than halfway through this race, so plenty of racing left to go. And actually, we were talking about back markers a little bit earlier. Lozano had a little bit of a dust up, but he's speeding forward. Like I said, we're the fastest lap time on track right now. The Mexican driver now about to pass Machado in front and maybe trying to regain the main pack. Up through the back, he's got a couple of seconds to make up, but with times like this, he can absolutely do it. And, I'm a little bit curious. I think we have a replay ready to go of that little kerfuffle that happened earlier. So we'll take a look at that as soon as we make sure that we're not going to miss some action live just now. So, yeah, coming down the corner, and I think it's this corner coming up. You just try to cram like 4 cars in a row. And I think he got bumped a little bit behind, sandwiched in front, and, yeah, you're not going to make it past there unscathed.
Yeah, unfortunately he got spit roasted. There's Petronev. So he had nowhere to go. He just had he was in a rock and a hard place. He literally let the contact happen because he knew for a fact that he had to defend, but unfortunately it was almost inevitable.
All right, we're making some new records happen here. Antunes now with the fastest time on track by almost a second. Okay, what is that? 1, 2, 5, 6 tenths. That's not almost a second, but it's close. Faster, and now he shows he has even more pace. Although not enough to finally pass Diego Villarreal. He tucks back in behind him. Villarreal tucks back in behind Antunes, takes the lead for a full reverse grid drive. He's +7 into the lead again. This man knows what it feels like to get here, although he does have to keep all of his tires on the ground, as does Diego Villarreal coming over the chicane. Mercerat getting over Villarreal as he lifts his tires off the ground, and now Diego dropping back places. He's got to stop the bleeding.
Unfortunately, he's going to let it gush out again, because here's another one going through the inside. Pascucci looks as though I think Villarreal may not have the pace at the moment, but he's just happy to sit back and just wait for those guys to slog at each other, probably pick up some freebies along the way if they were to come a cropper.
Yeah, and it's something that might also happen, or you might see it a little bit more frequently, is racers that'll bust out to an early lead and then lose it little bit by little bit, because it does take a lot out of you to, get that far that fast, and then later on you see racers who have kind of nursed their car a little bit more. Fastest lap on track, a 1:44. Oh my God. How? I don't even know. That's like another 5 tenths faster than absolutely everything else. So I don't know where we're getting this pace from, but I don't even think we saw times like that in qualifiers.
Well, checking back the qualifying just now, in fact, it is faster than the qualifying pace. So these guys are lapping faster than they were in qualifying in the race. So really then, Pascucci's got the bit between his teeth in terms of pace, but he's not in the right position at this point. He's stuck behind Mercerat, his fellow countryman, and then the Iberian of Antunes right in front. So he really wished that Mercerat can give him an easy passage up to the back of Antunes and make a race out of it. All the while then, he thought Lozano was actually the fastest guy out on the track because he was having the fastest lap earlier, and he showed how fast he was in Alton Park. At this point, unfortunately, not having a pace to challenge for now, but he is closing in on Villarreal as the battle that was a big 6 at one point is now a big 3.
Question in chat about the drive layout, rear wheel drive, in fact. So, thank you very much. FWD and RWD are, of course, 2 of our championships here, AMX. So, whichever one you fancy, run out there and race. Also, if
Absolutely,
I say something like, no, these are 4-wheel drive, then you should jump in and save me, Amir.
Yes, don't worry. We'll cover each other's backs on this one. And to really iterate the point why some of these guys thought some of these things are front-wheel drive, they do have a tendency to look like they are front-wheel drive because when you go through, when you saw some of the moves being made just now, if they took a tight turn, you can see front smoke. So that actually does happen, but in actuality, these are rear-wheel drive cars. So it gives out a false illusion as, there we go, Pascucci goes to the inside of Mercerat. He gives his fellow countryman a way through, and they'll say gracias to each other in Spanish. Now they're going to go after a guy who possibly speaks Spanish or possibly speaks Portuguese, whichever floats his boat.
You know, they're Argentinian, so I think they say gracias. Although that might be an Iberian thing, I'm not sure. I know that they say like me llamo instead of me llamo, which is where the way I learned it. So nobody knows what they're doing down there except for racing quickly. They are. This is Pascucci, who, like you said, got a freebie past Mercerat. Team orders there. Maybe it's country orders. I don't know. And now he is coming towards Antunes. Now, this is not something that Daniel is unused to. He did have to make it.
Yep. And Antunes then probably be just sweating bullets right now, knowing the fact that Pascucci was one of the other fast guys. And qualifying between the both of them was separated by just less than 200ths of a second. So in terms of raw pace between the both of them, it is close. And across the line they go this time by. The times will be a 44.5 for Antunes, 44.3 for Pascucci. So at this point in the race, the 0.2 of a second separated between them. It looks as though among the both of those drivers up in front, we can include Mercerat as well. Pascucci is the fastest among the 3 of them.
All right, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. All Brazilian bottom 3. Not really a whole lot of hopes of changing that, but just like spatially, geographically in the real world, the Mexican driver still above them. Although I guess if you want to say unlike geographically in the real world, it is the Uruguayan driver Diego Villarreal holding strong there in P4. However, after dropping 3 places from having the lead, he now has to contend with Lozano, who has raced all the way through the back markers and now is finding his way towards that coveted 4th place spot. Coming around the inside or outside, no, can't do it through the curve. He does do it. Whoa, I don't know about that. I was trying to look at the front, but actually wound up looking back there to see Lozano get up there, but still can't overtake Diego Villarreal. He's really fluctuating here, and I feel like that's less him and more Diego. Kind of struggling here with the pace. We're looking behind, and we should see him come around the outside any second now. You can see him back in the back. He's going to get the move done. He's battling neck and neck tooth, and Nail Lozano barely gets past Diego, who drops back half a second.
Well, he made it a Villarreal move there. Sorry, you want to use the suffix in the background, but Lozano really had to work it out for a few corners. Finally made it stick in the hairpin. Now he can set his sights on the leaders by about 4.8 seconds. He'll have to reel them in by about 1.5 seconds per lap to just be right up to the back of these 3. But I don't think he'll be close enough to challenge us. There goes Pascucci on the inside, challenging for the lead. What a move on the inside through turn 1. And there's Antunes fighting back at him. All the while there, Mercerat is also looking through the inside here. Can he make it onto tire 1, 2? No, not yet. Antunes hangs it tough around the outside. They're still going at it side by side. Yeah, fantastic racing between all three of them.
Whoa, and then it's just back and forth. I don't know where they're getting this pace from. And actually, it was Mercerat Pascucci that shoved Antunes to the side a little bit there earlier. Now Mercerat, who gave up that spot to Pascucci going around the outside, but he's about to take it back, or he was, until he drops back a couple of tenths. This is so crazy to see with such huge fluctuations at the top. 2 laps left to go, not even. And our time on Zolder here in Heat 1 isn't even done yet. We got a whole nother reverse grid after this. Hopes you guys have the extra tires ready to go, because really, really big moves here so far. Pascucci putting on a show, and Antunes absolutely dominant. We'll see if he can retake those 2 spots he just lost.
Yeah, Pascucci then with a really good dive on the inside. He caught Antunes napping there and just made the most of it. But he still had a bit of work to do here to just cover off Antunes. And he look at that, Antunes is still fighting back here. So he is a fighter. He is not going to let that one slide. But Mercerat is going to be a bit of a cork in the bottle here. He's holding up Antunes by a bit to help his fellow countrymen up in front. They might be having a slice of the pie after this, but work's not done yet. Antunes might be thinking of the same thing. No, Mercerat's now dived onto the inside, and so does Pascucci. So they've covered off the one viable move on the inside, which turns around the outside afterwards. But looks as though everything is staying as status quo as is as we enter the final 2 laps.
That's right, 2 laps to go, Amir, and it is still kicking off up front. We also have continuing Machado back towards the back. I was talking about how he needed to get past a couple of drivers. He's about to do it. Villarreal dropped back past Losado, so Machado still's got that battle going. But this is where all the action is at the first 3 drivers on your screen. But which order will they finish in? Will they finish? Nothing guaranteed here in the final 2 laps to go. And Antunes pulling around this outside, looked for it, couldn't find it just yet, wants to get through the chicane. Whoa, getting some nice air on the livery, making it look good, just showing us the undercarriage. And unfortunately, that will not make it faster, but it's still cool to watch.
Yeah, they're eating it like Lightning McQueen there. So it's glad we have the Rusty's livery on the side there, so we can make some cars jokes along the way. But looks as though Mercerat is now the one that's having the bit between his teeth. He's ready to challenge his fellow country Pascucci. He's thinking, well, on the day, maybe the win is much more tempting than just playing country orders, and he is trying to just pry the door open. All the while, then Antunes is thinking of the same thing. So the guy in the front is looking back, and the guy in the middle is also looking back here. See, watching over each other's shoulders on who wants to make the first move.
You gotta make it soon. We are coming down towards the end of our second to last lap. Final one coming up. We are on board with Roman Pascucci, who is currently P1, maybe. Crosses the line, so he wishes this was the final lap, but as the white flag flies, he has 1 more to go. Pascucci along the wall there, pulling a little bit of a Chastain move to get himself guided back towards the goal. And that is 1 more trip around Circuit Zolder. Might be used to watching DTM cars here, but I think these GR86s are absolutely delivering. Wheel to wheel along the outside, and Antunes coming for that spot he lost earlier. Keeps it forward and does just barely not have the pace question mark down the straightaway, and it is pedal to the metal. Antunes cannot get past Mercerat.
Oh, that's got to play right into the hands of Pascucci, because look at that. The gap is now half a second. So with Antunes trying to fight against Mercerat defending, they're giving some leg room for Pascucci up in front. But what's happened to Pascucci? He's actually dropped back the pace, and all 3 of them are bumper to bumper up in front here. And there's a bit of a turn. Oh, that's going to be it. Turning it. No! Mercerat hangs on to it, and that might have just given the win to Pascucci.
This is crazy. For rear-wheel drive cars, it's so easy. Like FWD, you slam on the pedal and it might keep you going forward. That was, I dare say, a nice save. If I know one. Look at the gap now. Pascucci off by a mile. Almost 2 seconds through all those shenanigans. I hope it was worth it, guys, because P1 is now way out of reach.
Yeah, Pascucci then. Time to move perfectly as Mercerat fought tooth and nail to keep second place. There might be a bit of exchanges between the two. But Pascucci wouldn't mind one bit. Crosses the line and whoa! A 10th of a second between Antunes and Mercerat. That might just go all the way to the quiet room after this when they're going to have a bit of discussion. But what a race, Reed. Top 3 absolutely delivered. One of the best races we've seen so far tonight.
Manamir, if we didn't have technology, I would be having to, I don't know, count the flaps on the wings of a butterfly to count the gap between those guys passing by a hair's breadth across the finish line. A photo finish here in AMX Global League Season 4, AMX 1, AMX Light Class Series Championship Heat number 1. Yeah. Anyway, it's delivering. Wow. Oh my God. I didn't know what to think, right? These are light cars, right? Are they Formula One? No. But can they deliver some absolutely bangers of races? Yes, they can. Roman Pascucci in P1. I thought for sure the number 1 of Daniel Antunes was Antunes. Antunes. There it is. Antunes. There it is. Daniel Antunes. I thought he was coming for the lead, and indeed he had it for a little bit. Unfortunately, couldn't hold on, and he's got a big smile on his face. Maybe, or the big smile is on Roman Pascucci's face, either because he's happy that he won, or because at least I'm not murdering his name. Mostly because Pascucci is the name of a chain of cafes out here in South Korea. So at least I got that down. Either way, congratulations to him. Victor Amoroso, new on the day. Started in the front, finished in the back. He's going to get a second chance to get flipped up towards the top. Start heat number 2 and get ready to go.
And we are underway here. Amoroso once again with a poor start, Reed. That's not the best of starts again. He's got pole twice, but unfortunately he's not making the most of it as the field go through turn number 1 now. There is the skirmishes between the two drivers we saw just now from the first race. Antunes and Pascucci and Mercerat going at it again at the back. But this time they're going to make their way up in front. Oh, that's very close. Luckily, Amoroso got away with that one.
Did he? Did he though? For how long? Justice, thy name is the guy behind you. So close, such amazingly fine-tuned racing. Look at that, 2-3 wide. Who knows? Mercerat spinning out. It's 2 off the track. Some 360, 900s being put up. It's not pro skater, guys. You don't get extra points depending on how many times you spin around. That's Pascucci from front to back. Actually, no, it's from front to back again. He and Mercerat are out of there.
Well, the car's looking a bit second rate, and Mercerat's car looks even worse. I think he suffered a front left puncture. The car's suspension dropped all the way there, so not the best of starts, especially for Pascucci, who won that first heat so comprehensively towards the end after making a beeline for it. Now we got 3 different guys up in front as well. Petronev and Villarreal once again making the best of starts, with Machado up in third. This might just be a different story in the second heat compared to the first.
Yeah, holy moly. Really terrible start for Amoroso, Pascucci, and Mercerat. Only the last 2 involved in that fracas. Amoroso just kind of dropped down. He did start P1, but is kind of struggling with the pace here. So a lot to learn, and honestly, this is a great place to learn it, right? Watching good racers race, maybe the number 1 way to say, hey, what are they doing? Can I do that? And then you try to replicate the greatness out on track. Currently, the greatness of 153.3. We've seen way faster times than that at the end, towards the end of our previous heat number 1. So let's see if we can get that down there a little bit, guys, and see what they can do. Right now, the racing is in a couple of places. Lozano on Antunes and Machado on Diego Villarreal. So we're going to check that, or keep an eye on that battle towards the top 3 while we check out what exactly happened there. It looked like a little bit of a weird accident. Was it just the pack being close off the starting line? Let's take a look at our BenQ replay and find out. So they're coming around the curve on the inside, a little bit of a extra curb there, and I think the oversteer on after that means that, yeah, a little bit rough, bumpity bump, and that is 2 cars out of there.
Well, Antunes really got lucky with that one. He went through there almost pretty much unscathed, aside a couple of touches from Pascucci and the result of that, the impact from Amoroso prior to that. So he was lucky to get away with basically just a few scrapes on the side of the car. And look at where he is now, P4, just only 7/10 behind the rostrum. So he is in good shape here with one of his main rivals further behind to at least have a half shot at taking the win. And there he goes onto the inside of Diego Villarreal. Villarreal is just giving way once again, probably to just not interfere and get into trouble.
And man, this is going to be so exciting. It might look like if you just stare at your timing tower, there's only a couple of places where we're going to see racing. No, last heat number 1, we really got a lot of exciting hijinks. That's what we're calling it. So you never know what to expect, especially when we see guys like Antunes, a guy that finished P1 in qualifying pole position for the regrid. Now setting fastest laps, motoring his way on through the top 3. So cannot wait to see what he's got in store for us. We also have Mauricio Lozano, who had several fastest laps in heat number 1, back at it again in 4th, just behind him. So some racing will be coming your way. We do have to get around the track a few more times. 11 total laps, just like we had in our previous heat, and only through 3 and a bit of them. So plenty of time left to race.
Yep, certainly. We're only just a third of the way in if we put our maps together on that particular regard. Still, plenty can chop and change, as we saw just now what happened in the first heat, how we went all the way to the line in the very last lap, and it just got very exciting. But unfortunately, the equation is a bit different this time around, with one of the fastest guys in the race, in this race, just further behind after what could be said was an unavoidable contact at the start of the race. So it might be up to Lozano and Antunes to make a race out of this, as we are now seeing Sperrinef and Machado still battling each other, but it's going to become a big 4 after this.
Oh yeah, and here we go. Machado now finally making that run on the lead behind Felipe Spetrinev. Now, Spetrinev had his fair share of time in the front at the very start of the first heat. Didn't last very long, and now it may be over. 3 laps through, and it's time to say goodbye. Machado revving, biding his time. Here's the straightaway across the line. Lap number 4 is going to start with a brand new leader. Machado up into the lead.
Once again, doing the same thing that Pascucci did, diving on the inside, but Antunes, with the momentum out of turn number 1, uses it well to come into turn number 2, into the lead. Whoa. Makes it 2 for 1. Not only did he overtake Spetrinev, he also overtook Machado in one fall swoop, and there he is up in front. But for how long? Because he can see the other 2 drivers behind challenging, but no, makes it firm, and now Antunes is ready to make a beeline for it.
Back-to-back, cramming these cards in the pack. Antunes, the big winner off of that. 4/10 lead. Spetrinev getting a move done, but it's not going to last for long. Through the chicane is really going to disrupt Lozano as he tips his car off the ground. Still keeping it close to Spetrinev, but Antunes takes a great opportunity and booster rockets into the lead.
Wow, and what a time to take the lead as well, because he caught everyone in front of him napping and just went through them as if they were all standing still. But looks as though Machado is the only one that's woken up from that. He's ready to keep the fight going. About 9/10 in it between the both of them, but he's going to have to make the final few corners stick so that he doesn't lose sight of Antunes. As there goes Lozano finally getting by Spetrinev into 3rd place. Oof. So that's the sort of thing he did not want. He got bogged a bit coming through the chicane. Now he has to actually make up all that lost time in the next few laps.
Yeah, you know, this reminds me a lot, Spetrinev's journey here of Diego Villarreal in our first heat of the night. Started in the middle of the pack, climbed all the way up to the lead, fought for it, got it, and then slowly lost it over the course of a few laps. And now Spetrinev, a guy that formerly led a few minutes ago, finds himself right next to Diego Villarreal. Probably a lot in common for now. Because, just like we saw the field expand and contract, we've probably got another one of those coming up here in just a little bit. Lozano is about, let's see, he's about 5/10 faster per lap than Machado ahead of him, so that will contract in theory here in a little bit. We also have Pascucci, a guy that's super fast, who over the course of the next 6 laps might be able to put something together, even though it says that he's further behind. He is way faster, almost a second per lap than Diego Villarreal. So yeah, a lot to look for as we near the halfway point. Lap 5 coming to a close here in just a little bit. Our time on Zolder, I'm liking it so far. I think it's a great combo for these GR86s, even though I guess they've never raced here in real life.
Certainly. And calling it here a bit now, in terms of overall racing, we actually saw better racing here for the GR86, and I think we will have at Spa, because it'll be just slipstream fast, granted, and there'll be some overtaking maneuvers happening, but you don't get that braking zone where you have someone trying to play some chicken and see whether or not someone will actually just blink and let someone through. We've seen that already happen all the way to the final lap in terms of race battles here in the first heat. So, yeah, Zolder, in these cars at least, provide better racing than Spa. Nobody at me, please.
yeah. Amir's gonna have to look both ways before he crosses the street today. I love the hot take. I mean, we gotta fill a little bit of time before Lozano continues to set some big bad lap times. Let's see who's fastest this time around. We are on lap 6, and some times coming close to the fastest lap. Currently, it is Felipe Spetrinev, who is. Oh, actually, no. I tell a lie. I think it's still Lozano, if I'm not mistaken. Keep an eye on that as they come around the corner. Amoroso, yeah, I think he's pretty far back there, but everybody else still looking to have a race on their hands. Like I said, Pascucci, he's climbed a couple tenths, so I think, yeah, I was a little bit optimistic before talking about him earlier. For Lozano, though, he knows what he has to do. Pedal to the metal, 4.5 tenths behind behind Machado. Mateus Machado currently locked down on that P2, but for how long?
Yeah, how long is he going to stay there? Because he is reeling Machado in. I thought Machado was going to be the one to challenge Antunes up in front. But unfortunately, Antunes is singing to the tunes of being in the lead, right in front there by about 1.7 seconds. All the while then, he is losing Machado, with Machado now in the grasp of Mauricio Lozano. Let's see what he can do here.
Yeah, that's right. Whoa, getting way up close and personal around the corner, taking it nice and slow. The downshifts come through, and now it's back up to speed. Lozano gaining a tenth through the corner, and that's how you do it. He is now a little bit faster also, getting the revs up and looking for maybe some passing here in the future. Can't take the curbs too wide. Let's see who gets around there a little bit faster. More and more time shaved off for Lozano. He is absolutely going for it through the straight, across the finish line, wheel to wheel. Lozano going for it. He is side by side, and doing him like my vocal cords are absolutely getting destroyed. Machado and I have a lot in common. Just gonna let him do that to you? Well, I don't know. It's gonna make the rest of this race a lot more exciting. That's all I can say.
Yeah, Machado's gonna prepare to make those tires squeal as well if he wants to actually get back up to P2. He let Lozano through a bit too easily there, but I think it was for a measure, courtesy better part of valor, because he doesn't want to wind up in an accident. So good move there from Machado to just let him by and then follow in the slipstream, let the faster guy do the punching up in front, but maybe too little too late right now. 2.4 seconds between Lozano and Antunes.
Yeah, Antunes has given us some of the best battles that we've seen all race long. But I don't know if we're going to see that as he is 2.5 seconds into the lead. So for now, we got to hope that Diego Villarreal is going to battle his doppelganger this series, Felipe Spetrinev. They're getting a little bit too close for comfort back there. So you got to know Spetrinev's starting to look back a little bit. He's not that far away. But we'll watch and see if Diego can reel him in over the course of the next 4 laps. Machado also doing something similar, although dropping back on his previous lap, a couple of tenths slower than Lozano. So anything can happen. 4 more laps to go.
Yep. 4 more laps when we come across the line next time by. And you might say they're almost like conjoined twins, even though they don't look alike. Spetrinev and Villarreal have seemed to be together this whole race. Literally, they're inseparable from the start and until this point, battling for outside of the top 3, but no less pride at stake. They just want to actually get a good race for among themselves, and for the time being, at least, Spetrinev holds a tenuous lead by just about 0.4 of a second. It looks as though evenly matched right now between the both of them.
Yeah, even for now, but 2/10 is nothing. I'm doing my best here. They're both a little bit unfortunate after starting a couple places higher, but we got plenty of time to make up those places. Machado's got some of those thoughts in his head too. Although I think he might have taken a bad corner there. Machado dropping hard. I'm not sure what happened. I think he might have skidded, spun out a little bit. But he just lost like 7/10. So something spinning around there. And he continues to lose a little bit of time there. So I think Machado might have some rough stuff going on up there. We're watching the rough stuff of Diego Villarreal and Spetranov. They are doing epic warfare, deadly battle. The heat of the fight is and flaming their fighting spirit. I was really trying to make that as epic as possible, but with no game sound, it's like just sort of watching them like from space. If I was on space station and I zoomed all the way in, I could probably see these guys, and I'd be like, "Wow, that's really exciting," but like, it's also very far away from me.
Yeah, two little specks fighting each other. And of course, with national pride, I would like to play the national thing as well, because Uruguay and Brazil, of course, two of the most successful nations in the FIFA World Cup. It's just a bit of soccer rivalry that I would like to put in here, and how Villarreal would love to put one over Brazilian coming up through the second corner here. He goes on the inside, and no, Petronev slams the door on him, just about hangs on to fourth place for the time being. This is the closest to Baton cars on track right now, and how we would love to see either one of them right up in front, because they're providing a good battle right now. So there is the chat at the bottom telling the story. It's either Villarreal or Petronev. They're actually betting on who's going to finish up in front.
Yeah, that's right. Uruguay on Brazil. Let's see. Villarreal. Whoa, getting lifted way off the ground. It's going to set him back a little bit. But he's still keeping it within 2/10. Anything can happen as we near the final 3 laps. 2.5 left to go, and the bets keep coming in. I'm not sure this is sustainable, but my God, are we going to make sure that we battle it out for as long as possible? Spetranev's like 6 seconds off the guy in front of him. He doesn't even care. Nobody's thinking about anything in this battle except what is happening. Oh, wobbling along the outside, looking for the angle, and there it is. It was the inside, and Diego Villarreal takes it in through the chicane and will hold on to the lead. Spetranov, you saw that frowny face overtake him. I'm not sure if he's trying to imitate an emoji somebody just sent him, or if he is upset. I think it might be the latter. Through the finish line for the 10th time, and Diego Villarreal with a sizable lead. Nice.
Absolutely nice, and that was a nice maneuver that Villarreal did on Spetranov. He caught Spetranov napping. He thought, okay, the room on the inside is already not enough. He'll never go for that. And he did. He actually centered one on the inside at the hairpin, a favorite overtaking spot of many drivers over the years. And Villarreal now will be the one who is the hunted this time around, holding a 4/10 of a second lead in front of Spetranov. Spetranov, no doubt, would not be taking that lying down. He will like to get back up in front of Villarreal.
It might take a little bit to get up in front of Diego Villarreal. Villarreal currently, actually, never mind. No, he's lapping almost an entire second slower per lap last time around. So, yeah, that might make it easier for Spetranov. Let's see what happens. But it doesn't matter how fast or slow you are per lap because you're running out of laps to be fast or slow on. Once again, watching these cars from outer space. So I'm trying to zoom in there. If we had what do you call a telescope for sound instead of light, Amir?
Wow, that sounds cool. I'm thinking on the top of my head on that one, but I think there is a specific name for it, but I can't think of it right now.
A microphone? Nah, there's got to be something. It's like one of those I don't know, James Bond listening devices or something. I don't know. I'll call it my dad. Okay, we gotta talk about the racing here for a second. It's our white flag lap. One final lap to go. It's Spetranov. Oh my God, what did he do? Was he find some extra length on that gas pedal? He is motoring, zooming past the Diego Villarreal, and now the panic starts to set in. You can see the furtive, flirting, fleeting eye motions on Diego Villarreal, who almost gave it up, and oh man, any tighter of a line, and that would have been it. The opportunity for Spetronev. So close, and yet so far.
Yeah, someone actually put a big bet on these two if they were to come across. He might be a happy camper if he gets out of that, but it looks as though they're going to race between themselves respectfully and cleanly. But having said that, they're going door handle to door handle coming out to the chicane. And Villarreal sends it up. He actually went out into the air, and that's going to let Spetronev through.
Yeah, and you can see the head shake there from Spetronev. He's like, you messed up. And he will absolutely take that any day of the week. It's now less than a 1 lap to go, and with that small mistakes, it feels like Diego Villarreal, man, he was holding on so tightly to that 4th place spot. He drops down, and is he going to be able to make this up again? Limited passing opportunities left, and we pass through the final 2 kilometers of Zolder.
Yep, and we're halfway there. Oh, that's a bit of a touch between Spetronev and Villarreal. You can hear the bump there as both of them came to blows, but it looks as though Spetronev might have actually gotten the better of Villarreal, as we are seeing the race winner, Antunes, making good of the promise that he had from qualifying to come across the line and take it here in heat number 2. Lozano in second and Machado in third. 2-3 seconds separate between the top 3, but across the line comes Machado of Spetronev and Villarreal, providing us the best battle of the entire race. And it goes to Spetronev, the Brazilian, over the Uruguayan. That was a real ding-dong battle between the both of them, Reed.
Diego, no! Man, such a tragedy that he had the great run in Heat 1 and then lost at 5 spots. Similar situation here. He's almost about to lock down that 4th place and then couldn't get it down the final lap. The action going all the way, bumper to bumper, wheel to wheel, and first to last lap all the way. So much action going on. Both heats, really, really great racing. And I have to write down this car track combo. This might be a one that we see more often because it was a banger. Thank you so much to all of our racers for coming out to race and showing us such sick-ass racing. Damn. All right, well, that's the story of GR86s at Zolder as told here in race day 8 of our AMX 1 Light Championship. These points, of course, going towards that championship and, of course, towards the standings. All right, that's grass, my man. He's just trying to get across the line as fast as possible, close things out for us here on Zolder, and get us back out into our next upcoming races. So, yeah, I gotta go across the line. And that's going to do it, which means it's time to check out who our BenQ session winner is. It is Daniel Antunes, the number 1. Back in number 1, it's Antunes. I'm going to get it one of these days. Mauricio Lozano, Mateus Machado, Felipe Spetronev, Villarreal, Mercerat, Amoroso, and Pascucci down there towards the back. A whole smattering of flags and drivers all over the place. A really, really diverse field there towards the end, especially there. And, of course, the fastest lap coming through in, was it best?
Lozano,
that was Lozano, right. That guy's so fast, and yet it doesn't seem, I think he's really good at going quickly, but then kind of struggles to get the overtakes happen. He finishes P2. Not a bad finish. CLK Esports being represented there very, very well. But that Antunes guy, I think he might know something the rest of us don't, Amir.
Yeah, to go fast around the track, overtaking, and then be good through 1 lap qualifying. That's exactly what you have as a mark of a driver that's all-rounder. Lozano may be good around 1 lap, but it looks as though he is not being able to translate that to being fast through the race where he can just carve his way through. Maybe he'll take notes, 1 or 2 notes from Pascucci and Antunes for future rounds if he was to race again together with them.
I mean, I think everybody's kind of trying to write down some notes after that. Yeah, definitely some situations where some drivers really seem to just have the right idea, and be able to make it work. But, man, some heartbreaking racing there. I mean, it's heartbreaking for the drivers. I loved watching it. I got no skin in the game. Really, really good day of racing out here on Zolder's, GR86s, and the drivers really delivering. And of course, a big shout out to the fans who also delivered today. Thanks for watching, and we hope you come back and watch us. In order to know whenever we go live, make sure to drop a follow or a subscribe on YouTube or Twitch. We really appreciate your support. And of course, we'd love to see you out on social media. Let us know what you thought about this race on Twitter or Instagram. You can find us at AMX Global on both of those platforms. And if you want to get a little bit more of a piece of the community, you can head to the AMX Global Discord. We've got a link on amxrace.com where you can also sign up to race with these guys on these tracks and these cars and a whole lot more. amxrace.com is the place. So while you guys go check that out, we are going to check out a quick break. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we've got one final race tonight. That's 2 parts, but there's a lot of racing left to go. That's what I'm trying to say. So don't go anywhere. It's AMX 10 coming up next right after the break.
home. We must travel through the gateway to find new energy.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another fantastic day of the AMX Global League Season 4. We are in race number 8. AMX 10's four-wheel drive. That's what... front-wheel drive championship coming your way. We are at the berms, the dunes of Laguna Seca to go racing today in AMX 10. Welcome back. Hope you missed us. If you didn't, well, maybe you will after this. Maybe. Very happy Valentine's Day to everybody out there, wherever you are. If you are here with us, then we're all in the same boat together. Anyway, I do want to welcome Amir back. Amir, how are you doing? Dare I ask what you're doing on this fine day later on?
Really. Probably just going back to work and probably just looking more at anime girls. Okay, sorry.
Amir, I was trying to I'm saying if you want to hang out later, let me know.
Yeah.
Either way, also if
sorry, book a flight to Seoul after this if I wanted to.
Okay. Well, if anybody else out there is closer, hit me up. No, I'm just kidding. It's great to be back with all of you guys. Very happy day, whatever day it is, wherever you are. It's time to go racing in the AMX Global League Season 4. We just talked about this earlier, but if you're new to AMX this season, here's a look at what you can expect. So this is a 3-month-long league. We're about through the first month of it. There's $20,000 on the line, oh my god, and we have a lot of races, 70 in a season, way more than that in a year. So if you guys can find a league with more, then let us know and we'll put more in. Either way, a lot of cool combos of cars and tracks. You saw that in our first race of the day, AMX 1. Same format for AMX 10 also. 3 sections qualifying, Heat 1, Heat 2, all 20 minutes with a top 15 reverse grid in between, keeping things exciting. When you race with us at any point in time, we'd like to see you, just for purposes of production, join via the video link in our Discord channel, the AMX Global Discord, or you can find the link on our website, amxrace.com, where you can sign up to race anytime. Because it says that right there. Either way, when you go there, you can also set up your user profile and cash out once a month for values over $100. So this is when we go racing. If you're here right now, well, welcome. This is AMX 10. You start every single day at 7:20. Well, not every single day. Every single Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday at 7:20 p.m. And that's our start time for AMX 10. That's Greenwich Mean Time GMT, so adjust as you will. It's now for Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sunday. And, of course, we've started a little bit longer ago. If you missed AMX 1, go check it out. We're racing for a little bit of a bigger prize pool here. It's $500 on the line, 5 times the prize pool of our first race. And when it comes to the prize pool, if you win first, if you complete an AMX 10 Triple Crown, that is almost $100 going your way. It is a little bit difficult, and we do have an entire field of absolutely badass drivers, so good luck. You're going to need it. $4 fastest lap bonus on there also. And if your minimum road I rating is over 2K, get out here and join us. Like I said, you're going to need it because we have so many good racers competing for it. $500. Today, it's going to be a great day of racing here out in Laguna Seca. We're just kind of jamming along here. Shout out to our production, also a DJ. New set coming up this weekend. I'm going. You guys should join me. This is a look at our AMX 10 Top 12. Gael Valero. Well. The battle continues. Gael and Aaron Vasquez have been doing epic battle back and forth. Gael, with his finish yesterday, not yesterday, it was a couple days ago, cemented his lead by a few bucks, but Aaron Vasquez, he had one kind of DNF there. Well, it wasn't a DNF, it was just a low placement at the end, so that sucked, and it could absolutely turn around here. Kieran Harrison also, this is his race to lose coming up. TCRs are his forte. You might imagine he will be looking at coming up the field, $50 back of Aaron Vasquez, and a whole host of some of the best racers you'll see out there, top 12. If you want to get in on this, amxrace.com is the place to do it. If you'd like to get in on this for a little bit less, then check out a couple of promotions we have going on right now. 30% discount if you sign up 3 days or more ahead of time. And if you want to buy a season pass for any one of our 6 championships this season, AMXrace.com is the place to do that. Click on the season tickets, season pass link at the top of the page. And pick up a 50% off discount for any of our upcoming races. You got to get in there soon because we are running out of time. So AMXrace.com. All right, it's time. Amir, tell us what and where we're racing today in case people aren't looking at the screen right there.
Yeah, we're here at Laguna Seca. In Monterey. That was intentional, by the way. In Monterey, California. Opened in 1957 with a bit of a difference to the original layout, but they still maintain the same character as it was back when they opened. 3.6 kilometers and anti-clockwise, so it's a completely different layout to what we had previously prior to this, when we saw the GR86s race around Zolder. So we really are in brand new territory in terms of what kind of car and track combo that we have here, but an absolutely brilliant road course. And who says that Americans only know how to turn left? They have some really good road courses.
I'll remember that one, Amir. I remember this one because last season this gave us not one but 2 of our best races all season long. So excited to be back in Monterey. There are quite a few Montereys. It's a great track, also a great city, also a great cheese. And obviously it is winding up over the hills, which will probably give a little bit of extra lift, some air, some takeoff vector for these cars coming up.
Yeah, but speaking of cheese, I was thinking of Wisconsin for a second, the Packers, but these are no slouches in terms of how fine wine will go well with these things. The TCR class of cars with 3 different manufacturers, ranging from Hyundai, the Honda, and Audi, with Hyundai having 2 models on screen. As you can see there, the Elantra and the Veloster coming together, but the Elantra is the most popular of the 2 models. And yours truly here happens to be driving one, the different variant, the i30, which is the WTCR championship winner, which is nice to have here, 2 cars being represented on screen. But 300 horsepower in it between them, front wheel drive, all of it, and with really good door banging action we saw last week when we were in the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya. So hoping to have the same thing here in Laguna Seca.
It's time to join our racers in qualifying. As qualifiers have been going on for about 10 minutes, we're going to jump in here and join them. It might look like this is racing. It actually reminds me a little bit of like that stretch on Mount Panorama where you're just kind of sending it straight down the elevator shaft. Really, really cool track. And yeah, we're about 9 minutes through qualifying, and this is what the timing table looks like. Look at that, Fabi. Way up at the top, and that is Gonzalo Fabi, of course, from Argentina, getting replaced by Quarantine Ganez during practice. Fastest racer was, in fact, Quarantine Ganez with Karen Harrison. Kyle's his brother. Karen Harrison bringing up a P2. So expect to see that be the case here also. 18 racers on the track with us tonight, and some of the best names that we've seen race all season long. Sillard Neji is here also, down there in P10 currently. Dino Philippa rejoining us, and actually, if you want to count the flags with me, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Argentinian racers, by far the most out of any of the countries represented here today. A big contingent of them. However, up at the top, it is French and French. So keeping an eye on the flags as we go through the race today.
And we have a surprisingly huge amount of Audis, with only one Hyundai being driven by Jackson Resende, as we see Quarantine Guinness in one of those Audis, giving way to a horde of Audis coming by here. So looks as though everyone's found out the meta around this circuit, and it is the Audi RS3 LMS that is the car of choice here. So unfortunately, not much in the way of manufacturer diversity, but no doubt we have a huge contingent of nationalities involved here, with France, Argentina having the blood of the nationalities represented, Brazil as well, and a couple of Hungarians and a Brit in between. So really then, it's a very cosmopolitan field here, Reed.
Osmopolitan. Yes. Sure. On board now with our only pro license holder, world championship license holder. That is Gael Valero, currently in P2. Like I said, right up against his countryman in the Audi. Yeah, like you said, it is all rings. So if there's 18 drivers, 17 Audis, how many total rings, Amir?
17 times 4. 154, I think.
There it is. All right,
Yes.
well done. Your teacher is watching. There will be a test on this later, guys. If you're watching AMX. Oh my God. All right, Amir is fired. I'm going to have to go grab somebody from our production team. It was a nice run, Amir, but I should have asked everyone watching in chat. They would have gotten the right answer. Right, guys? Right? Anyway, and the only reason I asked that is because I was afraid that you were going to ask me that, Amir. And then I would have to have thought about that. But checkmate. I've survived once again. Here we go. Way down in there. Look at that. Straight down. Oh, my God. Imagine when they're on a flying lap or something. Really going to get some air there. It's going to be exciting to watch. Now we're going to go ahead and check out the guy I was mentioning earlier, our Argentinian driver, Gonzalo Fabi. Now, obviously, fabulousness going hand in hand with one of the potentially real racing drivers out there. And, drivers drive, racers race, but real racers never quit. And we actually do have several real racers with us on the field. There's Fabi, there's Chico down there, real race car driver joining us. I'm trying to remember what he drove. Because he used to run, I think, TPCs, which is obviously the South American version. So he absolutely knows what he is doing out on track with us tonight. So, really exciting to see some of that off track come on to or some of that offline come online and join us today. We'll see what kind of times he can set.
Yeah, interesting to note about Gonzalo Fabi that he has two separate names of drivers who have actually raced in IndyCar before, Gonzalo Rodriguez and Teo Fabi, but the former, of course, unfortunately, we're looking at the corkscrew right now, was a guy named Gonzalo Rodriguez who went off there into the corkscrew and was killed in 1999. So Gonzalo Fabi will probably be avoiding that particular fate, but he'll try to emulate Teo Fabi's run in America, where he had a real good years of success when he was racing in IndyCar. So it's just a couple of things to drop there.
Yeah, thanks for the wisdom as always, Amir. Can you tell me how they're going so fast? I love watching Norbert Leitner, who's chilling in a cool P7 amongst a field of about 7. Okay, never mind. I was like, wow, that guy's sandwiched in between the Argentinian flags. Nope, straight out of there into P4. What a lap. And with a 1:30 lap time or thereabouts, you are really going to have some limited options here. 20 minutes means less than that in laps, and with only about 5 left, 5 minutes that is, you're going to get 2-3 laps in there. So let's see how they do. Final lap time should be set. I love this quarantine guy, man. You give this guy a fastest lap, you give this guy a pole position, he's like, yeah, I can do better than that, and he continues to lead in provisional pole.
Yeah, by about a tenth in front of Kieran Harrison. That's very close between them. And look at that, the other Frenchman, Gael Valero, in P3, another tenth behind. So 2/10 of a second separate the top three. Aguiar, the fastest of the Argentines, just another tenth behind here. So it's really close competition. In fact, 1 second exactly separates first to 18th. That is literally a couple of blinks of an eye, and the whole field have passed here. So that is really a competitive field here today. So SOF higher than usual.
Oh yeah, no, the sun on fire is really hot today. Yes, the field strong, and Nagy Sillard, Nagy. Yes.
Naj.
Anyway, it's Naj. Okay, so there's a Y there for a reason. Nobody knows. Anyway. Every time I see this guy, I have to drop a fun fact. Okay, so your fun fact for today is that this guy shares the last name of one of the physicists who developed the atomic bomb, right? Szilard. I believe that was originally Leo Szilard. Anyway, this guy said, when asked where are the aliens, he's like, they live in Hungary. And you can prove this because the names of the physicists that he was hanging out with, no, you couldn't find their names named after like a city on Earth, but their names are named after craters on the Moon and Mars. So proof that's where they came from. And every time I mention that, I have to mention that these guys are also superhumanly good at sim racing, just like they are at splitting protons. So a time-honored tradition there on board now with the man I was talking about earlier, Norbert Leitner, also from Hungary, sitting in a cool P5.
Yeah, talking about Ziller is also an anagram for lizard, which is also another way to put alien. So that's why these guys from Hungary are fast, especially the likes of Ziller, Naj, and Norbert Leitner. So Leitner holding the torch for the Hungarians here, just 3/10 behind Martin Guinness, but he has Guinness right behind him now, actually. So that's actually a lot of pressure to have one guy who's really fast behind him. Across the line he goes. It looks as though no improvement. So in fact, he is now still in P5. But Guinness has actually gone even faster by a couple of tenths in front of Harrison, so he's actually stretched the goalpost a bit up in front.
Yeah, and every time I watch this, I keep thinking it's the actual race, but no, it's just, I guess it's traffic. Yeah, no way to spread out 18 cars around this track. It is kind of bunching up here at the end, and oh, by the way, yeah, still pole position, fastest lap, Quarantine Guinness. I don't know if that's going anywhere. Although I will say, while he and his teammate are both on Team RC, very well represented up there, Kieran might have a slight edge here. He is really good at TCRs. So, yeah, heaven on earth here up in the top three. Gael Valero also really liking to put it down here. Very, very happy to see him do P3 time. Good enough for that so far. And Nicholas Varone up there in P4. Never seen this guy race before. I have no idea what's going on there, but excited to see some new faces up at the top of the timing tower.
Yeah, it's nice to see everyone who's we're familiar with, but there's some surprises in between that might upset the apple cart, and those guys might just bring a surprise here come the race time. But for the time being, at least Guinness up in front. He's going to have a lot to do from P15, where Dean is right now. When the race starts, there's going to be a whole lot of work to do. Checking ahead for Jackson Resende in the McDonald's car, a homage to Tony Kanaan as well, because Kanaan's first Indy car was a McDonald's livery one. Seems as though that there was a bit of traffic on track, and he was not having any of it.
Yeah, not happy about that for sure. And there's limited time, right? And I think that's why a lot of these racers are super frustrated. It is bunching up a little bit. You don't always have time to like slow down, wait for everybody to pass, and then come back and do your lap. Because we're at the end of qualifying. We had less than a minute left to go. So if you just had your lap screwed up, then there it is. That's where you finish. Guinness still way up at the top. Valero coming through. He crosses the line and is in bad shape. Still a P3 finish for him. That's where he will stop his run. A couple cars left to come across the line in the last 30 seconds of qualifying. Ooh, a little bit of Parisian drift there at the end. Final car is walking across, and Guinness, Harrison, Valero looks to be a pretty unbeatable trio atop a tower of Argentinian flags.
Yep, and a Hungarian sandwich in between there. Somehow he ended up in South America. But yeah, what the whole field separated by just over a second. This has got to be one of the most competitive races we've seen so far this season. And in TCR cars that have been known to be quite balanced in terms of parity, though, has to be said, the one-make nature of it does help out a lot.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of the logic behind it is let the drivers do the driving. And BenQ session winner, Quarantine Guinness, one of the drivers that does get it done. Doesn't matter if there's differences in the car, similarity. He is just built differently. Such an impressive qualifying time. Granted, I mean, we got to give a shout out to Kieran Harrison. Only 400ths behind him. They are teammates. They are very, very good, and they go hand in hand a lot through some of our races. top three, honestly, we've watched them all season long, the last few seasons of AMX Global League, and they're back to do it again, putting on a show for you guys. So buckle up, get ready, because it is about to be one banger of an AMX 10 race. Heat number 1 underway now.
Calm before the storm. Then the drivers really are alone their thoughts here. So we might get a view of the grid. Yep, we do. Nice camera shots there all around. We got some drivers on view, including Dino Felipe. There's Pedro Dean up in front, alongside with Martin Chico, an Argentine and a Brazilian up in front. That's gonna be a spicy affair.
Yeah, that's right. And we are sitting here at the start, waiting, ready to go. The green flag. I think we are all on the grid, so yeah, gridded up. 18 racers getting ready to go. The green flag is out, and so are we. Pedro Dean on the front. Vicente Calavi Filippo right behind him. Chico, where'd you go? Terrible start for Chico as he tumbles down the order. Not sure what happened, where'd he go, but he's finally hitting the race pedals. Wow, no! Already plowing through a huge T-bone in the middle. Carnage at the race start, my God! The humanity, Chico, Fredes, Vesca, Aguilar, Zampolini, all out of there at the beginning of the race.
Yeah, Vesca actually came through the camera shot, already going backwards anyway, so somehow he had a collision prior to that, went through the gravel trap and just into the entire crowd. But I don't think some of the fast guys will mind that too much, because the likes of Kieran Harrison and Corentin Guinness have actually climbed up into the top 10 through out of all of that. And spare a thought for Muesca, he's already out of it.
Man, yeah, no, that was a rough one. Keep in mind it's a reverse grid, right? So a lot of these guys placed first or second or third, and then are now out of the race. You'll actually notice a key difference, though, between our pole number 2 and number 3, right? Kieran Harrison, Corentin Guinness, and Gael Valero zoomed through that pack like a hot knife through butter. They are way up there, plus 6.75 in 7.89. So a very, very good start for the P1, 2, and 3 through qualifying.
Yep, and a few chopping changes here. Then we have the Muesca incident at the start. Where did that come from? It looks as though he was helped along the way by, can't see which car is that. That might have been Fredes who hit the back of him. Might be wrong there, but he was already sent spinning backwards into the crowd and facing the wrong way in a traffic jam, which is not what you want. And unfortunately, he got a bit of second helping from another driver right there in the SART car. So made a huge mockery out of that one. But we can't really focus on that because we're looking up in front. It looks as though Reshende, in the only Hyundai and very snazzy McDonald's livery car, goes to the front read.
Well. Hyundai back in the lead. But for how long? Pedro Dean, a guy that we've seen have those fastest times, right alongside. These are TCRs, so the packs do tend to be quite fierce. A lot of bumping, a lot of tight racing, and after what was a very not tight start, we are really raising up here. Hezenge, Philippa, Dean, Calabi, and Barone. Double move in through the curve, down around the corkscrew, and it's time to see what's going to happen. It's Calabi tumbling down the order. What is happening there? Oh, ooh. Spinning out
and for a second time.
The line. Yeah, it's all right. He tumbles back down the order again. Naj getting locked up into that, taking out as well. What is happening, Amir?
It was just separate incidents left and right causing all of that. There's Resende also going off, losing the lead to Filippa Verone. But for Kulhavi, he was punted out twice. First time at the corkscrew, second time through rainy corner. He was going sideways both times, but luckily plowed the throttle to actually get the car back up forward. But at the expense of his tires and, unfortunately, a huge load of positions.
Man, such a rough way to start the race. Interval, that is Dino Filippa way out in front, a minute and a half, or second and a half, rather. Not a minute. But Verone, new to me, the first time I've seen him race in AMX Global League. Also with a comfortable lead over Jackson Asenge. Jackson had a great start. He didn't place too well, but let's actually. Oh, I didn't actually see what actually happened. I think he got tapped on the rear and then spun out. And while that's happening, there's more carnage on the inside. Oh, this is the second time he got spun out. Sorry, this guy's not having a great race.
And so was Valero, because he was the one that actually got tapped around there. So he was the one that actually got the second impact from Kulhavi. Lost a huge amount of positions, and he's outside of the top 10. So one of the perennial front runners that we normally have, not having the best of starts here, while his fellow countryman is right now up in P4. We're looking at him right now from the onboard of Jackson Resende. He's going to dive one here coming into the final corner at turn 11. Does he make it? Yes, he does. And following suit is Kieran Harrison. So it's 2 for 1 there for the SimRC boys.
Yeah, and that is what you expect to see. Ganez and Harrison slicing through the field. Fastest lap, Verone up in P2. So he is going to be an absolute monster to beat, 2 seconds up on Ganez and Harrison, the guys we talked about just a few moments ago. Zenjay behind all of them, but honestly, this front pack is pretty darn competitive. And I do want to mention that even though Zenjay did have that fall that we just watched from P1 as he went way out into the desert, he has come back and solidified himself a place in P5. So top 5, that's not bad, especially after what could have been a race-ending maneuver.
Yeah, and luckily he kept it together, plowed the throttle once again to just right the car back forward. But that may not do his tires a whole world of good, and a bit of his confidence too, because right now he's got the fast drivers behind, including the likes of Leitner and Fabi, we saw just now, who's doing well in qualifying. So a bit of a reprieve for Rishende, but no doubt a scare nonetheless.
Yeah, right. And going for a move here on the inside. Here comes Fabi. Okay, Fabi didn't actually go anywhere, but it looked like he was going to. He did have a nice line, but falling back behind Pedro Dean, who is in a pretty decent spot there. P8 with a long ways to go. Rough start, but he's recovered and has the rest of his recovery drive left to go. About a quarter of the way through the race right now. Some lap times coming through. Quarantine Guinness in front by just a hair over his SimRC teammate Kieran Harrison. We're going to be talking about those guys all race long because they have their sights set on that P2 spot. They've narrowed the gap down by 3/4 tenths. So they are going for it. Now, speaking of going for it, it's Reales over Naj coming through into P11. Made it look easy. A very, very strong move by Marcelo Reales, who's up into that spot and now has the rest of his countrymen to race against Fabi up in front.
Yeah, Naj not having the best of runs here at the moment. Maybe he's looking forward to race heat number 2, where he could be right up the front at the sharp end. But we'll see first, because we're not even halfway through the race just yet. Looking at some of the movers and shakers, Guinness, Harrison, as to be expected, they really love these class of cars, making up a decade's worth of positions up there, 12 and 10 respectively. And no doubt they will probably be challenging for the win, because Verone and Filippan right within their sights. As on board with Rishende for a second. 4-10 separating between himself and Melo. This might be another uncomfortable moment here for the Brazilian.
Well, let's see if it's comfortable. If he gets tapped on the rear end, that's not going to be that comfortable. Valero making up a place in the back line. So just keeping an eye on him as we keep an eye on Jackson. Zenjay, he has dropped back quite a bit after his P1 incident, his outing into the desert. And now we'll see what he can do as we come through our 6th out of 13 laps. Kieran Harrison putting up a new lap fastest time. He is now closing on his teammate Guinness as they both work on the top 2. Dean Calavi back in the back. And keep an eye on that as they go side by side, wheel to wheel, neck and neck. That's a lot to watch as we continue to check out Harrison and his teammate Guinness, who are really setting the pace here.
Yeah, they're both really the class of the field, and they managed to carve their way up from the back, and I'm surprised they've gotten up this fast, but maybe it helped by the fact that the first corner kerfuffle really helped their cause there, so that's why they managed to clear that. Unlike what happened to Valero, as you can see, side by side they go, coming up to the Ray Hall straight. Kulhavi manages to just sweep it around the outside of Dean, makes it through in this gaggle of cars of 6. from Kohavi all the way to Fredes that rounds out the rear here. Really good stuff. But unfortunately for fringe positions here, Reed.
Yeah, and it is going to take a long way to race. We're only about halfway through the race so far, not even, so plenty of time left to go. If you can dream it, there's plenty of time to do it here, especially for guys like Gael Valero, who has pace with a capital P to slice through a couple of guys in front of him. Now on to our leader. It's Philippa and Varone. Varone in P2, now closing in. Tails touching there for what felt like a second, but realistically they have a few tenths left between them. More fastest laps being set. Harrison Guinness coming for the guys you see on your screen right now. So you think this is a battle for P1 and 2? We got 3 and 4 right behind.
And both of those guys are teammates in 3rd and 4th, so they might be doing a bit of team tactics here to get up the better of the two guys up in front. No doubt, though, Filippa may be relying on his fellow countrymen for defense, as there's an SART car off the side of the track. That might be Fabio Zampolini. Maybe Chico or Zampolini, but I'm not sure. It was probably one of those cars involved in that first lap skirmish, but the leaders make it through safely, and they are about to negotiate the best corner of the entire circuit, the corkscrew. 10 stories up, all the way back to the bottom.
That's right, coming way down the hill. Such an iconic racetrack, and really just something unlike it you're going to get anywhere else. On board with Philippa, defending 4/10 Marone, 4/10 Quinez, a little bit more than that behind, and you are really going to see some moves like that, squeezing in, just coated in butter. Marone up into P1, Quinez does Philippa, and it leaves Harrison behind. Oh my God, you cannot imagine what's going to happen as they head all the way downtown. Elevation, not the friend of Philippa, who really got done dirty there for a second. Guinness just squeezing him back and now fighting for the lead.
Yeah, Barone didn't do Filippa any favors there. His fellow countryman dived on the inside, stalled his momentum, and pushed him out wide though. That caused Guinness and Harrison to actually get up to his rears, but it looks as though it wasn't enough to get them up in front. But this is the sort of thing that Guinness and Harrison wanted. A break in the chain that allows them to actually reel themselves up to the front of the pack. And it looks really good here for the Frenchmen and the Brits.
I thought we were never going to break the chain. Isn't that how that song goes?
There's a song, yes. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see if we can break the chain of this top 4. They're all looking to do it. They're all trying to do it. They're coming down the corkscrew once again. Guinness. I thought he had an angle on the inside there, but you do not want to do anything fishy here because, I mean, it's all I can do to watch them do this, much less how difficult it is for them to drive down one of the coolest places to ever see anybody go racing. So, I think things have kind of stabilized here, and I'm only saying that to curse them so they actually get a little bit of action. We've also got action in the back. It's not going through. Stillard climbs to 12th in the back and is now looking to take on Pedro Dean. So we do have some motion in the back. We hop on board with Varone Guinness in the PNP, trying to find that angle, and he might have it on the inside. He tries to get it, and I think he just might have it. It's Guinness, Varone. Oh, but he's on the outside, so this should be an opportunity to fall back in place. He does, but closer and closer every time he tries.
Yeah, but once again, look at that. Good defense from Varone, but I'm surprised that when he went narrow, he still managed to get the car stopped in time, because these cars don't like to go narrow. He's doing it again. He's forcing Guinness around the outside, so he is mindful of his braking, not to overdo it and just lock up. So he is really putting up a good staunch defense here in front of Guinness, with Filippa just watching brief in P3, and watching even more brief is Kieran Harrison, the 4th car in this entire line of 4, waiting for something to happen up in front to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, speaking of pieces, we are shoving the camera right up in the pieces of Guinness, who is plastered to the back of Varone. Let's see if Quarantine can do his best, do what he needs to do to get past Nick in first place. We got Philippa looking to do the same thing. Top 4, we're going to say those names over and over again. Let's see how it goes. They come around the corner into, is this a straight? Is this a straight-ish?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. And they are going to go through it.
Yep.
That's right, neck and neck indeed they are. Guinness, he's finally done it. It took him 10 laps out of 13, but he has dominated into the inside, into the lead.
Oh, that was a mistake from Verone that allowed Guinness to go up to the inside. He went in a bit hot, a bit narrow, and Filippa is actually returning the favor from last time out. There's no long block between the two Argentines. It's a civil war between them, and as a result of that, Brit and the Frenchman have gone through in front of both of them.
And man, picture perfect. I'm not going to say I told you so, but these guys are not bad. I love that we're seeing what Verone looks like right now because he has been in the middle of a hot, what's the sandwich they do? Croque Monsieur? I think that's their contribution to international sandwich culture. And there was Verone for a while. He was stuck in between. He's gotten out, and now he's the bottom slice of bread, but he's looking to get buttered up by Philippa and Leitner coming up behind so fast. See if they can make it behind the corkscrew once again. I love that he tilts his head as he goes down at an angle. That definitely makes you go faster. And in fact, these top 6 drivers have all been going faster. So fast so far that Guinness is now, even though he passed with his teammate, a 1.5 seconds in the lead.
Yeah, Guinness really showing his true colors here up in front once he got some clean air. That's how he knows how to win races. He's just going to be metronomic all the way to the end as we're now on the penultimate lap, and he is 7/10 faster than Harrison, so he's got pace left in that car to still go for it despite having to claw his way from the back of the field, from the mid part of the field, from P15 all the way to the front. So Guinness then going through 2/3 of a triple crown here. He's got pole, now he's well on his way to Heat 1 win.
Yeah, don't jinx it, Amir. We still have the potential. It takes a while before we get those triple crown wins in, and this is a very difficult field to do it. Don't forget that we did have a very difficult start to the race, and then next lap we also lost a couple of brave souls. So next time we regrid things, it is going to look a lot different. But hey, for now, exactly as you said it, Guinness doing what he does best, and then is front to back to front again. He is there and holding strong. Faster and faster lap times and continuing to set that fastest lap. Although I will say for now, fastest lap rested in the clutches of Kieran Harrison, too, but 6 thousandths faster than his teammate.
Wow, he is going for the full glut, isn't he? If he was to get the fastest lap as well. For the time being, at least he holds on to it. No, I mean, in fact, Harrison holds on to it by just a bit as Filippa goes narrow again. Oh, touch there between Leitner and Filippa. So, not the best of corners for Filippa. He got dive bombed by Verone there quite a few laps ago. Now he actually nearly got punted off by Leitner. There we go, on board between the both of them. Nice to have two different views here. But it looks as though a possibility for a race win for the Argentines have gone banging completely. It will fall into the lap of Corentin Guinness here.
Yeah, that's right. We got Verone Filippa ahead of Leitner, and I love that we're watching this because he's trying to break in, These guys have been battling all race long, so who knows what kind of condition their cars, tires are in. It has been kind of a rough race so far, especially with the opening to it. You got to know that these guys have been through a lot. Loved the racing earlier. It was really, really fast. And actually, we still have some fast racing in the form of Gael Valero, who is coming up on Gaston Calavi. I've said that sentence so many times. They've raced in previous seasons, previous races, but they're going at it once again. So time changes, but some things do not. Valero fighting for that P9 and the regrid spot when it comes down to heat number 2, which we'll be kicking off with in just a few seconds. We had a crown a winner here for heat number 1, and as we come through our penultimate lap, it's looking like Leitner might have something to say about this top 5.
Yeah, he might want to try to fancy his chances, and bringing along Jackson Resende, who was in the lead at one point until he dropped it coming through turn number 10. He will have to at least recover to the top 5. We're looking at battles all over the place. Here in this case is between Gonzalo Fabi and Gaston Coolharvey, so that's another position to look out for here between them fights. But it is Coolharvey and Fabi. Quite a few names that rhyme a bit, but we're looking all over the place right now. Action everywhere you go.
Yeah, this is that Gael. Excuse me, Gael Valero battle happening back in the back of the P&P, but up front, like I said earlier, Leitner's got something to say about this top 5. He is glued to Dino Filippa. Dino, of course, enjoyed the top couple spots for a second and is now at risk of falling out of the top 4. Coming through, looking for an outside move on the next corner to see if he's able to make it happen as Gael. Oh, I thought he was going to squeeze in there for just a second. Cannot find a way through. So things holding steady for now, and I say for now because we only have less than a lap to go. The white flag is out, and Leitner is closing seconds or tenths and tenths as they go through the corkscrew for one final time, and he won. Here we go, pedal to the metal, coming through and looking to picture-in-picture. It's Guinness trying to get this pass done, and he does it just at the last possible moment. The white flag's about to run out. We got the checkered out and ready to wave as Quarantine Guinness about to finish 2 seconds ahead of his teammate and the rest of the Leitner trying to pedal to the metal as they go on through. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to wave the checkered flag, but who's going to finish? Leitner, Philippa down to the wire, 700. 77,000 separate the Hungarian from a P4 finish. Can't get it done, and at the wire, down to the wire, comes so many racers. What an electrifying finish that Heat 1.
A bit anticlimactic that we didn't get the door-banging battles that we were accustomed to, especially that goes all the way to the line, but we did see some class in the field, and that is the likes of Courtney Guinness and Kieran Harrison, who went from the mid-pack all the way to the front in a space of just under 10 laps and have actually come away with a 1-2 here. So brilliant driving from the ones who took the spoils of victory up in the front. And shout out to Verone there for what was a gutsy drive, but unfortunately for Nicholas, not a win, but a podium nonetheless.
Nah, and I gotta give a shout out to Martin Chico, one of the real racers that's joining us here tonight. He did not he got done a little bit dirty. He's down there at the bottom of the standings, but in a different world, things could have been a lot kinder to him after what was a decent start. But yeah, some issues with the beginning of the race. I'm not making eyes emojis at the stewards or anything. I'm just saying that we'll see how that shakes out in the end. Quarantine it as your BenQ session winner with his teammate Kieran Harrison, running P2. Nicholas Verone and Dino Filippa round out the top 4. Argentines locking it down as we head into heat number 2. 15th place reverse grid. And we are off, away, and underway as a great start coming through. Got to see exactly who these guys are. It's Aguilar, Reales, Najdeen Kalavi, all off to great starts. It's Leitner charging up the field, as it does look like Zamperlini and Mosca struggling back there, making it around the first turn. Looks like everybody's safe so far. 2-3 wide, so this is going to be a dangerous start, but all of our racers are surviving.
Yeah, it's a cleaner start compared to heat number 1, where all 18 drivers have gone through safely. No, spoke too soon! Resende in the only Hyundai gets speared off into the barriers. Oh, there goes his front bumper, and there goes any chance of a good finish in the heat too.
Yeah, could have just parked in the pit lane. Well, I don't even think that was anyone else's fault. I think he kind of lost it coming around the curve. We'll get a chance to check that out in a replay coming up soon, but for the most part, everybody else having a pretty darn good race. Looks like Kieran Harrison also might have gotten shunted a bit there at the back, so keep an eye on those back markers. But for the most part, we have an absolutely excellent race, and it's like reverse Eau Rouge, just heading down the hill, and oh my God, it's just so beautiful to watch.
Yeah, it looks like water flowing through this dry lake bed, and it does literally mean that way. It's Laguna Seca is a dry lake bed, but what it gave us is an absolutely brilliant circuit with lots of topographical changes, and how that shot was just basically the money shot. That was nice that we managed to get everyone coming through there safely.
Yeah, safe so far, but we have had a couple of accidents. It looks like Verone Mosca also getting caught up a second ago, coming through a very dangerous corner here. Oh, a little bit of squeezing there on the inside, but it looks like that was Fredis who made it through there. I don't want to. Oh, it's Quarantine Guinness, that made it through.
Yeah,
here we go. Let's check out Hesenge.
Let's see then. Oh, that's a purple yellow card. That might have been. It's Harrison. Harrison actually pitched Vicente into a spin. They were actually touching each other, but then he thought he was going to clear, hit each other again, and there goes Vicente. Hit off to the back. He's coming out of turn number 4. Oh, that really was terminal damage in terms of his chances.
You know, I'm not going to check my DMs just yet, but there might be a message there waiting for me. Oof. A rough one, and that is Zenjay grayed out of there. Now, a rough time for everybody back there. Zamperlini, Musca, Verone, and Harrison all got caught up in those shenanigans at the start. But as we've finished off lap 1 and about to finish off lap 2, putting those in the record books, things are pretty good for like most of these guys. All very, very close, and as we wind our way through the end of the second lap, this is going to be a good race for everyone, not the least of whom Aguilar, Santiago rather, living the good life, 2 seconds in the lead.
Yeah, living the vida, but not loca. It's not a crazy life at this point, but he's doing the Dolce Vita up in front right now with a good gap in front of Zilanaj by 2.5 seconds, with Valero now coming into play. So at least that's one fast guy that he has to worry about after this, along with Naj and along with Leitner, but he's stuck behind Pedrodin at the moment. So battle packs forming between second and all the way to P10, but Aguilar up in front is happy to just really biding his time there.
Yes, time being bidden, Bowden at the back. Chico, a great move. This guy started in absolutely the last place, and he zoomed past all the danger. This guy's got a metal detector on the front of his car. He's dodging landmines right and left and up into the top 10. A great move, but he's got a ton of danger behind him. Let's watch Harrison as he charges through the field once again. The backpack really getting filled up with the bottom 10 drivers, and oh my God, this just does not let up. We got Valero doing Naja up at the top. Oh, going off and trying to rejoin things. I think that is Leitner, Philippa? I couldn't see exactly who it was. I think
Reales.
it was Reales, who gets back on track and into P5. That's not bad.
Yeah, he did it with Shende as well. Just managed to recover it, not to lose too many positions, but that wouldn't do his tires a world of good. Though he'll be counting his lucky stars that he didn't really spin it out, so still in the chance of at least finishing on the rostrum, as Aguilar still continues to build on that gap because of the infighting between those guys from P2 all the way to P7, that he is making a slow beeline for it up in front. But it is Valero in P2, so that might just be him looking over his shoulders after this.
Shoulders being looked over in the front and down there in the picture-and-picture. On board with Naj as he looks at Calavi Reales closing the distance behind him. We do have the Sim RC badasses, the Bash Bros back again. Quarantine Guedes and Kieran Harrison, they are doing what they do best. They're starting it up. You already know it's coming. This is the slap shot straight to the net from P10 all the way to P1, and we have plenty of laps to do it. So we'll come back and catch you up after we take one more trip down through the corkscrew. Is Leitner, who is lighting up the top 5, where he's looking to, coming around Reales, speeding up, looking for the move inside for this one, and potentially a couple turns later, trying to break into that top 5.
Yeah, but still no way through just yet for Leitner. Though, you gotta love TCR Racing, as exactly what one of our viewers say below here. You have really close quarters combat, but unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, not enough manufacturer diversity, just because the fact that the Audi RS3 LMS is just the meta car around here. It's a one-week race, but that does help out with why the race is so competitive. All through the field, you see battling up and even all the way to the fringe positions.
Yeah, I gotta say, there's a little bit going on, a lot of it of places here. Kieran Harrison actually doing some battle with his teammate, but it's actually probably just them helping each other out. They've actually dropped a little bit since we last checked in with them, so have to keep an eye back there as we check out Reales Leitner right up against each other. But things starting to separate a little bit here as we get into the doldrums of the middle of the race. Everybody trying to play the long game a little bit. because we do have another 6 laps to go. 8 laps. We've got 8 laps, guys. I counted.
Yes, and a lot of us have still some capacity to do the math while the action's really heating up. And speaking of which, we are seeing Agria now, his sector times compared to Valero. Valero is actually reeling him in the first 3 sectors, the most there 3/10s, but he's lost about 300s coming through the 4th sector. So it looks as though coming through the corkscrew, Agria is much faster, but across the line they go. What will be the lap time this time by? It's a 30.3 for Agria, whereas Valero just 4/10s faster, so he only just chipped away 4/10s that time around, Reed.
Speaking of chipping away time, fastest lap, the fastest man on track, Kieran Harrison, a 1:29.9. Faster than I believe the qualifying time, if I'm not mistaken. You can check me up on that one, Amir. He and his teammate, like I said, making up a ton of time. They're already 6/10 up from when we last checked them, and they are gunning for Fabi, who is gatekeeping that top 10. We'll see if they can squeeze on by. We did get a chance to watch Aguilar and see what he is doing, because it is better than everybody else by 2.2 seconds. And then another 1.6 for Naj behind him. The top 3 in a world of their own as we near the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, about 5/10 of a second between the fastest qualifying time that was by Guinness to the fastest lap right now that is being set by said driver. So, yeah, no, it's Harrison. So, yeah, not that far off from the fastest qualifying time, but still, race pace is really hot right now. As you can see, a battle there between Realis and Kulhavi. Naj, actually, and Kulhavi. That was someone cutting the top of the corkscrew like Alex Zanardi did back in '96. And it's still side by side between Kulhavi and Naj there. Naj has the line on the inside, but Kulhavi's on the inside, but Naj cuts across. Breaks narrow. Does he get it stopped in time? Yes, he does. And Kulhavi as well, just about hangs on the P4 here, as Leitner goes right the outside, I think, because it's going wheel-to-wheel action here across the line.
Yes! Oh my God, I love it! 3 wide there for a brief moment in time, and now still keeping it in there as we come around a very hard corner. Don't want to touch on the inside. Oh my God! Oh, it was so close. Holy expletive. It's Dean, Philip, and Leitner. They're all going past each other. We're keeping it within the tenths next to each other halfway through the race, but the action is just starting to heat up.
Yeah, and all the while then, the first two are definitely making the beeline for it here. Agria and Valero are well ahead, but Naj still has Kulhavi come for company. And there goes Guinness onto the inside of Leitner. So Leitner's got caught by surprise there. Harrison follows suit, and Fabi might want to have a piece of the action here to make it triple threat for Leitner. And guess what? Leitner is off now. There he goes, losing a whole load of positions and outside of the top 15.
Yeah, there he goes, down and out. I don't know if that was quite east, but he is definitely bound down towards the back of the pack. We only do pay out to the top 15, so you want to finish in the points. He is just barely in there. Zamperlini might be there to take it away as we board Pedro Dean's car, the number 3 in front of Dino Philippa, glued to his bumper back there, gatekeeping the top 5. Still everything to race for, except I guess pretty much the top 3. Aguilar, Valero, and Naj locking that down. When last we checked in with our heroes, Quarantine Guinness and Kieran Harrison, the SimRC racers, they were moving. They've only made up a couple of places on through the majority of the race. Now they do have incredible pace, and they have been being kind to each other, so their cars might be in a little bit of a better shape than the rest of the pack. We'll see if they're able to pull the trigger, stab the knife in towards these final 5 laps, or if that is where they are destined to stay. As speaking of staying somewhere, Leitner stays down and now out completely of the standings. Zamperlini and Fredis climbing past.
He's taking the L there. It's gone completely pear-shaped for Leitner, so I think he might just have to try this race out all the way. But having said that, he's only just about a second behind Zamperlini, so all is not lost. He could still earn a couple of bucks here if he could just get the better of Zamperlini and Fredis. But again, the car is slightly compromised here as we look on board with Filippa, with Guinness and Harrison right behind. That is a daunting image. Though Guinness is walking winded, as you can see, the bumper, the hood is a bit caved in there, so he's been through some skirmishes.
Yeah, I don't know if the arrow is really working for him there. No, I wish we had 3 cameras behind each other, because you know Harrison's coming right behind Ganez. The yellow SimRC liveries, whoa, looking for it there for just a second. Ganez is absolutely ready. He's got his knife out. He's like, what do you mean I'm massing troops on your border? I would never. He is coming for him. Ganez now closer than he has ever been before, as they come way downtown in through a very, very tight turn. And on the inside, he might have an angle here. Oh my God, Ganez, he's looking for it. And there he goes. He's going. Oh my God, I thought that was it. Okay, never mind. Reel it back in, guys. We're going to wait for a second.
Yeah, this is a battle for P7, but it is actually almost like the battle for the win. And look at that. Nash still hasn't cleared Kulhavi, so it's still on between those two up in front. And Ganez and the rest are still just a couple of seconds behind. So if anybody in that gaggle of cars were to come a cropper, we might just have ourselves a grandstand finish at the line, as further behind somebody actually went a little bit closer to the edge of the circuit than he is onto the racing line, but probably just a move on the inside there, as Valero is about 1.8 seconds behind Agriar. Naj is leading this train of cars. Amazing battling all the way through.
Yeah, amazing battling continuing up here at the front. Naj versus Kalavi. Let's see if they can do it. Naj, of course, the last remaining Hungarian driver up there. We've lost some homies down there towards the back, so we'll see if Naj can represent. I was talking about the top 3 being a little bit impervious, but perhaps not. As the slap across the line goes to Gael Valero. Let's see where everybody else falls as they start to head on through. Yep, the 130s, but not good enough to cross into that hallowed land of the top 3, Dino Philippa. Now the next guy in the sights of Quarantine Ganez and Kieran Harrison. Ganez goes up, Harrison goes down as Fabi comes through, disrupting the middle of the pack. This is where the action's at. Harrison gets him back. They're coming up in 7th and 9th for the SimRC drivers, with Philippa being in the sandwich. He is not looking to stay there very long, as Harrison thinks he might have an angle here. Doesn't have his teammate with him anymore to draft him on through, so that might be him falling back, as Ganez now looks to make up the last second he has until he gets towards that juicy top 5.
Yeah, and we're looking at Gonzalo Fabi then. He also wants to have a piece of the action, wants to follow suit what Philippa has done and just slot in between the 2 SimRC guys. There we have Fabi's camera, and in front of him is Kieran Harrison. So nice little two cam here to see what those 2 drivers in battle are looking like right now. And it looks as though same expressions between the both of them, but it looks as though Fabi may just be trying to think where he's going to try to line one up.
That's right, they've been lining up all race long, and it's all come down to this, our final heat of the day. 3 laps left until we crown the final champion of AMX 10's race here tonight. There's action going on absolutely everywhere as Kieran Harrison looks to take over Philippa's spot in the top 8 to get back behind his SimRC teammate Quarantine Ganez as they continue to close tenths on tenths every single corner. They are absolutely moving back there all race long. They have bided their time, and now 3 turns later, it's time to unleash the damage on Dean, Reales, Kalavi, and Naj, all the way up there to that hallowed podium spot. Only one man can claim it after Aguilar and Valero, who have locked down those top 2. I say, knocking on wood, on board with the highest placing Hungarian driver. Sillard Naj, who finds himself defending now against Gaston Kalavi, who looks to be coming through.
Well, Kalavi is looking really strong in this race, and despite a couple of woes in the previous heat where he was punted out a couple of times through the corkscrew, he is very strong here. Tries to look on the inside, coming up to the corkscrew now, but Naj holds firm, keeps it narrow, and just braked in time to actually still hold the position, stalling Kalavi's momentum that he could try to get by here. All the while then, Reales still watching brief here. He knows full well the podium's on the cards, but he doesn't want to impose himself in this battle that might just hamper the other, all 3 of them.
Man, you know, these guys walk down the street just like the rest of us, and you'd never know they were this badass. 1 or 2 laps left to go. Some final times coming through as we cross the line. Ganez over Dean. Oh my God, Harrison's got to get the move on. There he goes, side by side. The SimRC driver, the only UK representative here, is side by side and will not give it up. He comes through in the inside. Oh, a little bit of a tap right behind him. He is glad to be out of that pack. He goes up into the top 8. In the meantime, Naj almost getting done here. Kalavi up past him just barely. Side by side, a little bit of a knock there too. Getting a little bit of a love tap there is Quarantine Ganez getting in on the conversation. He's trying for that top 5, doesn't have the pace just yet. It's Naj, Kalavi, through the inside. It's Kalavi to almost claim the spot. And look at that SimRC livery right in behind Ganez, the shark fin poking out of the water. The jaw's wide open. He goes past Naj. He's into the top 4. He might have a line on Kalavi. Harrison, his teammate, doing the same. A double overtake on Dean and Realis. SimRC charging towards the top.
Wow, Nash actually is the biggest loser out of all day. He's lost a couple of positions, but Kohlhavi, he managed to dive one, block past him, and gets out to P3. Now he has to defend for one more lap in front of fast charging Courtney Guinness. There's Guinness actually right at the back of him as Kieran Harrison has to fend off Philippa. They bang wheels. Oh, they're going to hit. It's a big hit. And there goes Harrison's race with Riales being the innocent bystander of all that. And it's a bit of after major accident.
Oh, the last lap, the final one. It's white flag out, but it's going to be a red one for sure. Half the field goes down. The final trip around, and only half the cars can do it.
Oh, it's a white flag for a lot of people there. Their race is done. They have surrendered. And here, Harrison's one of them. He might have been absolutely miffed by the fact that he got punted out wide, came back onto the track, and suddenly he found himself in crosshairs on multiple drivers trying to get by, and it just caused an absolute big traffic jam. All the while then, battle for the lead is actually on here in the final lap read. 8/10 of a second between Aguilar and Valero. Now then, can Aguilar hold on?
No, man, this is the prestige. We got twins and SimRC liveries, and now Quarantine Guinness has got to do it for the both of them. He is coming for that top 3 podium spot, but the track is running out. Down through the corkscrew for one final time tonight. Well, I mean, we did that. But anyway, my point is, we're coming down to the final moments of the race. It's Aguilar, Valero. They've got it pretty much done and dusted, locked in. It's all sewn up for the top 3. Kalavi coming through with a narrow P3. The checkered flags are out. It's 1, 2, 3. No! Guinness at the line! 10 seconds back, but he might have just done it. It's Naj on Kalavi too. The final seconds, and it's going to be a place difference. Guinness on the podium over Naj. Naj over Kalavi, Verone, Philippa, and that's going to do it. A photo finish once again. AMX 10 delivers.
And the TCR cars delivered in spades there. What an amazing race for the entire field. And for good measure, we had a battle for the win and podium positions at the last. And spare a thought for the guys like Pedro Dean. He went through it all that. The car is well and truly mullered. It is walking wounded, but it will soldier on to finish. And that is the greatest gratification that this driver and car combo will ever get.
Okay, I think we have like 12 replays lined up after that. My God. The carnage. Holy. Blood for the blood god. Santiago Aguilar is your BenQ session winner. You know how happy that guy is that he had 11 seconds between him and the rest of whatever was going on back there? Holy moly. I don't even know what to say. He finishes P1. Gael Valero, a well-deserved P2. And with Aaron Vasquez not participating tonight, that means a big boost in the standings for our AMX 10 leader. He goes way up. Quarantine Guinness' countryman just barely had enough gas left in the tank to charge through and finish P3 to represent SimRC on the podium with a very unfortunate finish for Kieran Harrison, who I thought it had sewn up, man. This guy is one of the greatest TCR drivers we have in AMX Global League. And here in Season 4, he finishes an unfortunate P17. And let's not forget the guy down in dead last, Jackson Asenje, race leader, and then not so much anymore. Lap 1, done him in. He finishes last. A whole host of some new faces joining him too. So that's going to do it for our race results. Let's hop into a quick replay. And Amir, why don't you walk us through this?
Yeah, we see Philippa there with Harrison on the inside. So no love lost between the both of them. They both got hunted off onto the gravel, but it's Philippa that caused that hit. And then after that, Reales, the absolute innocent bystander, he was just trying to make the corner. It was an absolute game of conkers there for Harrison, and it got even worse afterwards as he rejoined the track. There goes Pedro Dean, another innocent bystander as Harrison was rejoining. Reales was finished off afterwards, and for Harrison, well, it went really south afterwards. It was just absolute pandemonium. Multiple cars involved that were not even in the initial impact, and afterwards, as you said, nearly a quarter of the field was gone afterwards.
Yeah, throw one up for the homies, man. That is a rough one. You hate to see it, but this is why sim racing exists, guys. We got to get these things out of the way before they happen in real life on the track. Whoa. I'm like a little taken aback there. AMX 10-man, it delivers. It's either the top or the bottom. One or the other way, we're going to get to see some great moments on screen. So truly, the fans in the Coliseum are happy after what was an incredible gladiatorial battle to the finish there. Even Pedro Dean, like limping across there, as cut and bruised as possible, but he made it across the finish line. And you really cannot call how this thing will finish. Final lap, and that kicks off. Oh my God, Amir.
Lost for words. It was an absolutely manic end to the race, and we thought, well, that's about it. Everyone's just going to settle in, but somebody had to break rank and just cause out of all that, and unfortunately, it was two drivers causing that. It was Philippa and Harrison. Afterwards, it was just concertina effect. Everything just came together and produced that pandemonium.
Yeah, pandemonium. That's what we are going to have to call it here. I am just looking around because in a little bit, we potentially have some interviews coming up. So we got to hear from our racers. You know, I would love to get the thoughts of somebody involved in whatever was going on back there because we have a lot to learn. It's one thing to race. It's another thing to race against other drivers. It's another thing to get into it with them and then have to figure your way out of it. No fault, but like it's rough. Once you get bumped off the track, you got to find your way back on. You're slower than the cars you're rejoining. You don't see them. They don't see you. You get on there and anything can happen. So, yeah, wow. I don't know what to say about that, Amir.
Yeah, I think for some drivers who are quite experienced, when they want to come back on the circuit and being punted off, they probably would have been looking left and right, but unfortunately, there's a limit to how much we can see, especially if you're using a screen only, not VR. So it was a given that the accident happened because so many drivers were desperate to get back onto the track on the final lap.
Well, let's hear from the man involved in the center of it. Kieran Harrison interview coming up soon. Well, the man of the hour. Welcome back, Kieran. Great to see you today. And overall, I would say pretty good race until that last little bit. So walk us through what happened. What is it like to be involved in that?
I mean, I'm not particularly happy. I mean, it starts from massive netcode. It's like half a car's width of netcode in the corner after the corkscrew, which put me on the wrong line, and then Philippa comes up the inside, and then I mean it's just retaliation into the final corner. He punts me on purpose, and that caused a huge crash. And then I suppose I have to apologize for the rejoin, but I was equally trying to stay away from the other guy, whoever it was, Marcelo, who was rejoining next to me. So it's just a mess.
Yeah, I mean, really, up until that point, you and Quarantine were having an absolutely monster race, slicing through the field and getting way up there. So I know you particularly have a lot of experience in TCRs, and I think heat number 1, the first race, it really showed. Was that a drive that you and Quarantine kind of worked on helping each other out through the field, or are you both just that good?
It's just we tend not to waste time fighting each other in those situations. As you saw, like the objective for both of us was to try and get as far forward as possible, and we know that we'll just waste time fighting. So after we both, I think, scraped through the first corner on the first lap to like just about surviving. I was quite happy to just follow his lead through the field at that point. And then when we got to third and fourth, it all kicked off with the two guys who were leading at that point. I ended up getting a free pass by both of them at one point when they pumped each other a bit. But yeah, it's just a bit of don't waste time, I guess, fighting. We're not specifically working together, just don't waste time.
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of a decision you have to make, right? Is it worth me really trying to squeeze around this guy? Because a couple of times there were really huge gaps that appeared just because two people were fighting each other. But I mean,
yeah, I mean, if I was close to him, if I was closer to him at the end after we were first and second, then I would have had a go. But by the time I got through to second, he was a second and a half ahead, and I was never going to catch that in time.
I mean, well, it's still great to have you out here. Hopefully, we'll be casting some moments over to our stewards to see what's going on there. So you might get a little bit back later on. It's always great to have you here to kind of show us how it's done in TCRs or any other cars that are out there. And if people want to see more of you, what are you up to these days?
Again, it's just mostly this series at the moment. The odd special event coming up, and I think I'm in for the final round of the DNLS series. We've got a TCR entry that I'm racing in for that, but other than that, no more immediate plans.
Yeah, well, looking forward to that, and obviously coming out and seeing more of you in AMX 10. We'll see how things shake out after the race today, but loved having you on track. We'll catch up with you a little bit later, Kieran.
Cheers.
Oh, all right. I think we are working on some results in the background, but I do have a couple of announcements. Obviously, we finished that race with a little bit of a fracas, dust up there at the end. And I just want to mention a couple of things. First of all, retaliation is obviously penalized quite heavily. We are partnered with KARA, that's the Korean FSN of the FIA, and we do have a lot of stewarding that comes through. It was implemented last season. So before you have your strong opinions and voice them in a similar manner, just know that we have our top men on the case to take a look at that. Also, the way that you join AMX races, you purchase them on our website, and then you join and get in via the code there. I just want to remind you that you do have to get in there and purchase your code, get in. If you have somebody offering you these, then you are not going to be racing for very long. So, just do things the right way and join up with the rest of the racers and have a good time out there so that we can all have a good time watching. So I know I had a good time watching things today. Amir, how about you?
Yeah. So over the moon with the amount of action, though, unfortunately, a bit of a sour note. The fact that the finale to Heat 2 wasn't as clean as we expected. We wanted to have some good close action, but unfortunately, it all just kicked off, and it was inevitable that with so many cars that close together, the Constantina effect was just going to be immense.
Yeah, I think immense is a great word for it. A couple of final announcements before we get our final results coming your way. When you race in AMX 10, we do require that you join via video link. So if you race and you're not on video, well, we need you to be. So please remedy that as soon as possible. If it keeps being an issue, then we'll have to talk to you about it. You'll be in trouble. We'll use your middle name, and that's how you'll know. Either way, we do want to see you, so make sure to join the video if you're racing AMX 1 or AMX 10 this season. And after the race, we want to do interviews with you guys, and even if English is not your first language, we'll make it simple. We just want to have a chance to get to meet everybody. So after the race, join the Parc Fermé Cooldown voice channel in the AMX Global Discord. After the race, Parc Fermé Cooldown, you join there. Sometimes we'll get a chance to talk to you. Don't worry. It's not that bad, I promise. So yeah, turn your camera on, join the Parc Fermé cooldown after the race, and that is all I have to talk about. Okay, Amir, we had that one final moment, but was there anything else that you noticed over the course of our 4 races today?
I would say Gires being really in tune with the TCR. Yes, he didn't get a triple crown, but he was on the podium in that final heat. Got pole position, got the fastest lap, I think, for one of the heats as well. So he was on his way to getting the gentleman's set, a clean sweep, but wasn't to be because he had a ding-dong battle all the way up there. But nonetheless, that really stands out to me. It is to be expected, of course, because he was really fast in touring cars as we saw last season, and he's doing it here again.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's moments like this where you see racers that are this good, specifically in like a niche. Not that he is just good in a niche, but specifically for TCRs, those guys, I want to put those guys in real cars. Now, I'm not going to buy them, but if somebody else out there wants to buy Kieran Harrison or Quarantine Guinness a TCR car and put them out on one of these tracks in real life, I think it's probably going to go pretty well. Got to get used to the physicality, but I mean, they clearly know what they're doing, so it's great to watch, great to learn, and that is kind of what we all had to do a little bit of today. So finally, it is time to close things out. But before we do, we have we have to take one final look at the results from today. In first place, it is Quarantine Guinness, an $82 finisher for him. That is not bad. You race $82 richer coming his way. His countryman at P2, Guile Valero, with a cool 50. Locked into second place. Nicolas Varone in third place, and $44 coming his way, just narrowly like a position off Santiago Aguilar. And even with that bottom of the rostrum finish in P2, Kieran Harrison walks away with a cool $40. That is not bad. The top four all cashing out today. Congratulations to all of them. They absolutely deserved it. Some excellent racing. Coming from excellent racers out there on the track. That's a look at your AMX 10 Race 8 Top 10 winners. If you want to check out more of this, we have announcements, results, all the above on amxrace.com. You can check the results, the leaderboards, sign up for a race there. amxrace.com is the place for everything AMX Global League Season 4. Even us. We got VODs on there too. So we'd love to see you over there. And in fact, we'd love to hear more from you on social media. If you have something to say, let us know on Twitter or X or Instagram, AMX Global. We're out there, and we'd love to see you out there too. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to follow and like and subscribe. All of the above, any combination of the three on YouTube and Twitch. And if you want to get up close and personal with us, the drivers, or everyone in between, the AMX Global Discord is the place to be. You can find the link on amxrace.com as well, or just join by searching for AMX Global Discord. That's where you can find it. Big thanks to everyone on track who watched, everyone behind the scenes, Amir, and I will be back next week. So thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. We loved having you here, and we'll be back for more this weekend. So hope to see you then. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.